that Congress is in the dark on this. That's clearly not true. We've been talking to, I've talked to dozens of members of Congress to explain to them exactly what we're doing, to bring them up to speed, and to say to them, look, when we have completed some of these transfers that are working incredibly well, then we will be looking to Congress to codify those, make them permanent.
Brian.
Thank you, Secretary McMahon. What is the update on the negotiations with
Hello,
Harvard?
Jéja. Hello, you are the first. You are the first.
Worked on that. I think you
just you and I here,
Jéja. I'd like to understand where are things with those negotiations with Harvard this time.
They're ongoing negotiations, and we feel I feel very comfortable that we are getting close to having those negotiations finalized. It's been an open-door conversation all along.
Deanna?
Hello, Mrs. Secretary. The president recently posted about
I'm sorry, Doug. Hello, Jay Shadow and Doug.
For AI. Do you know if the
I decided to start close outer signal. Close. You are third,
Caroline,
technically
do you know
third.
if the president personally uses AI?
Yeah, there you go. Hello, you're smart guys. So guys, I decided to start a bit early just because there's a live press conference. I'm still kind of setting up the stream, so forgive me while I do that. But we can just listen. This is not Betsy DeVos, whatever the other lunatic is who's in charge of the education in the country. Okay.
I've never witnessed it, so I can't attest to that.
Well,
here we go.
I do think AI is going to need guardrails, but I have witnessed AI firsthand. I was at the Alpha School in Austin, Texas, and the first 2 hours of every day in that school,
hello, Raccoon Boyo. Yes, hello, Soup Cheese. Hello, Raccoon Boyo.
You
can see here we got a lovely
individual tutor for those students, allowing those students that can
Linda
progress
McMahon
faster
here
to do that. Those who need a little catch up, it refeeds information to them, and so after those 2 hours of learning, the basics of what they're doing in their curriculum that day.
And folks, I decided to start a bit early. I decided to start a bit early because I saw that there was a live press conference going on. I'm still kind of getting the stream set up, so please bear with me while if I'm not fully paying attention to chat for the first few moments, but we can watch this together. I'll maybe make some comments. This lunatic is in charge of the education department. Okay.
They have good recess and all of that time, but then they spend the rest of the day in what are called life skills, and they're actually using the information that they've learned this morning. So I've seen some AI in action that is really proving quite beneficial.
Michael.
Thank you, Caroline. Secretary McMahon, as the Education Department continues to pare down, can you talk about taxpayer services like charter school grants and how the department will continue to assist kids with special needs?
Well, we are going to make sure that there's no interruption in getting that grant money out the door. I mean, that money is it comes from Congress.
I think she is Raccoon Boyo.
Congress, and we legally are obligated to do that. And the transitions we're starting to make, our first programs that went over to the Department of Labor, that was a few weeks ago. We actually signed the first interagency agreement, which we accomplished under the authority of the Economy Act. We transferred grants for Warriyo and for the Perkins Act. And the really good news is that the Department of Labor has a much more sophisticated system, technology system and grant fulfilling system than the Department of Education does. As a matter of fact, our executive manager that went over with that
Jesus, I'm sorry, Doug.
Labor, said he would compare what the labor system is to education's like held together by bubble gum that is not connected to any other
All right,
part.
there we go.
So we were able to get
okay, guys, hello.
more smoothly, and states have actually better access for those systems than they do at the Department
Hi,
of
guys,
Education.
hello.
So that's a real bonus.
Take a couple more. Carrie, go ahead.
As far as the diversity, equity, and inclusion
here we go.
regulations that came out from the administrations, a lot of schools, whether high school or even higher education is concerned, some of them are defying these new administration policies, even apparently according to a new report.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
As far as there's been a new report from the administration saying that half of medical schools are defying the administration when it comes to DEI policies. What type of action will the administration take?
I know I'm not saying much. I got on a bit early here. I got on a bit early.
The president has been very clear. And the
president's never very clear.
Has taken measures to make sure that as
what's this?
Schools are developing, their policies.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about this. Good call, Raccoon Boyo. Hello, Mithril. Hello, Mithril.
Regulations and rules are.
So, guys, So, guys, Really, Rack? I need to see it. So we got to. I started a bit early because I saw there was a live press conference. So we'll go to our regular programming right after this, just to watch. I know not everyone is into watching these things, so regularly scheduled time is 2 p.m. But we'll watch this a bit, and then if it gets done early, I'll start early. Okay. Oh, of course they are Antifa. You, of course they are. Are you a terrorist, Antifa? You're Antifa. Okay, I'm joking, Antifa. Yes. Heritage Foundation is very much getting into education. It's quite horrifying, wouldn't you agree? Okay.
Stripped, from their programs, and so that will continue.
Great. We'll take one more. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. Secretary McMahon, my question is, since you said 3 out of 10 students
He looks like The Walking Dead
with regard to their reading capacity, would
actually
the
not
states
really. I'm
help
kind of
to
exaggerating.
improve those numbers since you have gone back to the states?
Well, what we are finding that the states that are making great
right there, you go,
progress,
paranormal.
it's through their own innovation. It's not coming from the Department of Education. I think the Department of Education is really.
I am so confused, folks. Your names are appearing differently than they normally do. So I think that's Mithril. Are you paranormal Mithril? And then Outer Signal is appearing as at Outer Signal Media. J Shadow is at J Shadow 62. What the hell is going on with YouTube today? I'm deeply confused. Why are these things appearing differently than they normally do? Why? Okay, now hello, Skittish Kitten. Skittish Kitten is appearing on my screen as Skittish Kitten /U9V. What is going on? J Shadow, yours is appearing as at J Shadow 62. Like why are everyone's names appearing weirdly? Hello, Burn Jobby. Burn Jobby, who are you, Burn Jobby? I'm asking because all the names are appearing differently today than they do normally. At Burn Jobby, who just said hello. Oh my God, am I going to be able to know who is in chat? This is weird. What is going on? It's only on YouTube that these things are changing. I know Doug said that. There we go. J Shadows is back to being correct. Oh, it's using the usernames. Marky, that was you, Marky. I got you. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I got you at Antifa U. Okay. Your name, Soup Cheese, because you're on Twitch, yours is fine. But it's just weird. A lot of them were different than normal. I'm losing my mind here, folks. I'm losing my mind. I can't handle change. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. I know who you are. I know who Skittish Kitten is at least. I know. And J Shadow, weird. What? J Shadow, I don't get it. Okay, guys. This is weird. I'm sorry. J Shadows originally said J Shadow 60 at J Shadow. Then it said at J Shadow 62. Now it's back to J Shadow, and then I went back to at J Shadow 62. SoCal Foodies is correct. Is the way it is. You're not special. I'm sorry, Soup Cheese. I mean, you are special, but it's not for this way. Okay. So I don't know what's going on. And Mithril, yours still says at para to normal. What is going on? Okay, but now it's gone again, J Shadow. Okay, I'm losing my mind. Okay, you know what? We'll just ignore that. I may need to ask people who they are because YouTube is giving me a hard time. Okay, I don't like change like this. It upsets my zen. Okay, so let's continue. Skittish Kitten, yours is back to being regular. What's going on? Okay.
Understood about what our function is. We don't teach one student.
Yeah.
We have nothing to do with the curriculum that are in any states. We are a pass-through pathway from money that's appropriated by Congress to get, to the states. But what we have
are
seen
you, a
in
conservative,
those states that have
Soup
taken
Cheese?
that
Just
initiative, and they
I really ought to, J Shadow.
Embracing the science of reading and returning that
Hello,
into their
Dolly
school
Boy.
programs. Louisiana has done it.
Yes, back
Mississippi,
J
they call it
Shadow.
the Mississippi Miracle.
Hello, you're a
Because they were
smart guy.
I think bottom
It is,
or
Antifa.
next to last
Change is
in
scary.
reading
I must be a
proficiency in
conservative.
Mississippi. And now they're like middle of the pack, which has been a really big jump. Florida has, Iowa has, Tennessee.
I suspect you're not,
these
though,
are
Antifa.
innovations that are done at the state level. This is not anything we're dictating, and that's why I'm saying returning education to the states where they really are already leading in their education. And
Right. I love that phrase that they're leading in our education. Like, how great is it, right? How great how much of a lead are our states doing for education, right? They're such leaders when it comes to education. Soup cheese, don't listen to. If you were a restaurant item, you'd be the specialty dish. Raccoon, don't you dare lie to soup cheese, okay? Soup cheese can handle the criticism. Come on, buck up, soup cheese. Take the hits. Okay, I'm just kidding, soup cheese. You know I love you. Okay. Yeah, I know, Dolly Boy, no change. I am indeed J Shadow. I am indeed, though rarely. Like literally J Shadow, I rarely use it anymore because saving money and stuff. Okay. Right, I don't get it, SoCal, and it's back again. The ad is back again. Okay, anyway, so obviously hilarious here that she's like, the states are leading our education. The state should lead it. By the way, it is weird that we have such an education system that isn't centralized and that we have one education system across the country that all the states can do their own education system. It's not very efficient, and weirdly enough, we're going to talk about why that is today. Okay.
And 90% of their budget they provide. The federal government only provides 8 to 10% of the budget for education. So let's make sure that that grant money that's coming from the federal government is getting in their hands as efficiently as possible and getting to students. We don't want teachers having to spend their time and money.
Oh, there you go, Dolly Boy. Yeah, leading it into the fascist abyss.
There was one superintendent chief
right,
who said to me that they had done some calculations.
Oh, me too, J Shadow. Hate this person. Probably global solidarity now. Probably. Okay, no, I'm kidding. It doesn't. Well, maybe. I don't know anymore. Global solidarity.
So
global solidarity. Who are you? Global solidarity. Are you global? Because your name is different. Normally, it says. I think you're normally global solidarity. Or you're whatever. Are you global solidarity now? Whatever.
Into the hands of our students and our teachers. Let's raise the level of education. The other thing
Correct,
I'll do, and
Antifa.
I'll wrap up for you. Is this 50-state tour that I'm have embarked on? We've done about 14 states.
Gotcha, global. You're back. Okay, that is you, global. Hello, global. Agreed, global. We need global solidarity.
Different kinds of schools: grammar schools, middle schools, high schools, micro schools, private schools, charter schools, the whole gambit. And in the end, my goal will be, as we step away and fully deliver.
My goal will be to privatize all the schools and then dish them out to my friends for a profit.
Back to the states is to provide them with
Hello
the best
in your
practices
groove. Welcome.
toolkit of all of the things that I have seen around the country to say, hey, this is working. Check with these superintendents. Check with these governors. And you know what I found a little bit is governors are a little competitive. So it's kind of nice to give some of these best practices out there.
Oh, well, ain't she just down to earth?
Well,
governors are a little competitive. Okay, good.
The president believes, as do I, the best education is that's closest to the child, and parents' involvement.
And you could take that in multiple ways, given the Epstein files. Yeah, the one that's closest to the child. That sounds a bit creepy. All right.
Is critical to the success.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Linda. Thank you so much. I appreciate your coming today. Thanks for your great work.
Whoops.
And
Thank you all very much.
Oh, that is weird.
So let her get back to work.
I don't see, Dolly Boy. There's some weird stuff going on with YouTube. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Thank you again.
Okay, she's gone. Okay, can we get to the lunatic?
You guys were so calm with her. I wish we were that calm with me. We'll kick off.
I wish we were that calm with me.
with our new media suite, as always. Javier, why don't you start us off, and then we'll get to the rest of the room. Go ahead.
Yeah, she's. Oh, you're totally is right. Outer signal. I can smell the bullshit.
Media platform in Hispanic politics.
I think so, Soup Cheese.
TV or UH and Plus or Vicegrad in Spanish. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for supporting the new media, also in the Hispanic community. We try to fight against media like Telemundo, Univision, CNN, or NBC News.
Soup Cheese, I don't think so. This is not the dog killer. That would be Kristi Noem. But I get why you're confused. I do. I think they both wear crosses like this and stuff.
The ICE operations. We will premiere this Sunday.
I mean, not to say she doesn't kill dogs. I mean, I can imagine she probably does it too. I don't know.
We are America's Voice, the Rainy Show, the first Hispanic show against communism and woke culture that is promoted by people like George Soros to bring.
Okay, can we get to the question? Can we get to the question?
I have two questions for you, if you don't mind. In Mexico, the young people is protesting against President Sheinbaum. They think she's doing nothing against the cartels. Sheinbaum used the police to attack them.
Raccoon Boy, that's Levitbot 3000, right?
She's attacking journalists like me in a country where 150 journalists have been killed in the past years. The USA legacy media is attacking President Trump for his comments about the fake
so this is a bootlicker.
While they are not publishing anything about the murders of journalists in Mexico.
Totally
Why do you think they stay silent about the
I know,
murders of
Antifa. There's
journalists
something
in
we could talk
Mexico
about in
and the
regards to
attacks
that, I'm
on
sure.
businessmen like Ricardo Salinas. And my second question is, Trump said...
Oh my God, can we get to the question? Can we get to the question?
Does he have a plan for Mexico where, according to Stephen Miller, the cartels are controlling governments and territories?
Sure. Well, thank you, Javier, for the question, and thank you again for being here. We're proud to have new media voices in the briefing.
He suddenly goes, I have Mexican friends. I have Mexican friends. I have some Latino friends. Okay.
As for President Sheinbaum and the president's relationship with Mexico, I will tell you that we have seen historic strides from President Sheinbaum and her administration in Mexico when it comes to cracking down on the cartels. They have been incredibly cooperative with the president's efforts at our southern border to crack down on illegal immigration and also the illegal trafficking of drugs at the southern border. Now the president is very interested in taking additional measures against the drug
I
cartels.
cannot judge you for that.
Very clear about
I do not.
He's spoken about it, and this is a promise that he made to the American public. And so
plus,
his
all us
national
white
security
people look the same.
Discussing these
I'm
options
sorry, I
all
shouldn't
of the
say
time.
that. Anyway.
And on the campaign trail, the president promised to take on the cartels. He has taken unprecedented action to do so, and he has left additional options at his disposal on the table. So those are only decisions that the president can make. Thank you.
The silence of the legacy media about the murders.
Hello, you're a smart guy. I am not malnourished. What do you mean?
Journalists have been killed in the past years.
Yeah, well, it's certainly something I wish the media would report on more, and it's something that this administration absolutely condemns. I can't speak for the media, but I can speak for the president. That's not something he wants to do.
I think we know why in your groove. We could talk historically about what her ancestors in the United States were probably doing with a whip. So she probably is used to using the phrase crackdown. Probably likes a lot of whip analogies, if you know what I mean.
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you, Caroline. Is there anything that Mayor-elect Mamdani could say tomorrow that would ease the president's concerns about his future leadership in New York?
You're damn right, Antifa. I'm bulging.
I don't want to speak for the president or get ahead of this meeting that we are currently working on.
Okay, not really, but
for tomorrow. As you saw, the president
a racing snake
tomorrow that the mayor-elect will be coming to the Oval Office, and so our teams are arranging those details. I won't get into the president's thinking on it. I think you'll all hear from him directly. I also think I will just add, it speaks volumes that tomorrow we have a communist coming to the White House because that's who the Democrat Party elected as the mayor of the largest city in the country. I think it's very telling, but I also think it speaks to the fact that President Trump is willing to meet with anyone and talk to anyone and to try to do what's right on behalf of the American people, whether they live in blue states or red states
Zoran
or
Mondani, as always can't pronounce it right.
Becoming much more left than I think this president ever anticipated in his many years of living in New York himself. Nancy.
Thanks, Caroline. This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus.
She's getting worked up, isn't she?
Encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders.
Well,
the sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country. And if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos and it could incite violence and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. These 3 members of Congress, I will also add, knew exactly what they were doing. You look at Alyssa Slotkin. She's a former member of the CIA. Mark Kelly was a captain in the U.S. Navy. Maggie Goodlander was a naval officer, and notably, she is also
right, outer signal, that's good.
Of Joe Biden's national security former advisor.
Do you think
Jake
the people
Sullivan.
in that room can smell her flesh burning under that cross?
They were leading into their credentials as
you guys,
former
this is
members
funny,
of
guys.
our military, as veterans.
I'm having trouble keeping track with all these hilarious comments. Dolly boy, sorry, Caroline. They're supposed to be there to protect the Constitution. Correct. They take an oath to the Constitution.
Former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump,
Hey,
that
guys.
you can defy him.
For those that just came in, I just started with this because I got in a little early because I saw that this was on. We might not watch the whole thing. We'll see. Might as well just see what they're saying.
Can betray your oath of office. That is a
You're right,
very,
SoCal.
very dangerous message, and it perhaps
Very
is
dangerous
punishable by law.
message.
I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
But the president has
Chris,
frequently, but Caroline, can I just follow up? The president and the vice president, for that matter, have accused the other side of encouraging political violence. Isn't that exactly what the president is doing when he says that members of Congress should be killed?
Why aren't
you think I'm
talking about what these
malnourished, Matt
members of
Saiga? You should
Congress
send
are
me
doing
food.
to encourage and incite violence? They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders.
Send you an address. You can get me some DoorDash.
But they're suggesting, Nancy.
You're totally
that
right in your group.
The president has given
Nancy.
illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful. And the courts have proven that. This administration has an unparalleled record at the Supreme Court because we are following the laws. We don't defy court orders. We do things by the books. And to suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable, and that's what the president wants to see. Phil.
Yeah, it's true, Dolly Boy.
Ambassador Mike Huckabee had a
Oh,
meeting
God,
with
Mike
Jonathan
Huckabee.
Pollard,
Well, that's a
former
name.
U.S. citizen who was convicted and spent 3 decades in jail for selling state secrets to Israel. Did the White House know that meeting was going to happen? Does the administration condone it?
The White House was not aware of that meeting, but the president stands by our ambassador, Mike Huckabee, and all that he's doing for the
Jesus
United States
Christ.
and Israel.
Right? Paranormal? What book? The
Necroman?
I can't pronounce it, but I do know what you mean.
Regardless of whether they lived in blue or red states. I'm curious if there's any chance in tomorrow's meeting with Mayor-elect Mamdani that he will be able to convince the president to abandon that promise to cut off federal funding to New York City.
Look, Phil, we'll see how the meeting goes tomorrow, and I'll let the president speak for himself. Natalie.
Thank you, Caroline. What did the president mean when he called reporter piggy?
Right, Dolly Boy?
Look, the president is very frank and
piggy.
honest with everyone in this room. You've all seen it yourself.
Very frank and honest. So wait, so her answer to that question is that he called her a piggy because he thinks she's a piggy? What? I feel like the job of the press secretary is at least to run some kind of defense of this comment.
You've all experienced it yourselves, and I think it's one of the many reasons that the American people reelected this president, because of his frankness.
I don't blame you,
and
skittish
he calls
kitten.
out fake news when he sees it. He gets frustrated with reporters when you lie about him, when you spread fake news about him and his administration. But he also is the most transparent president in history, and he gives all of you in this room, as you all know, unprecedented access. You are in the Oval Office almost every day asking the president questions. And so I think the president being frank and open and honest to your faces rather than hiding behind your backs is frankly a lot more respectful than what you saw in the last bit upstairs and didn't take your questions. So I think everyone in this room
right in your groove, I guess so.
The frankness and the openness that you get
I liked
from
how
President
she
Trump
come on, isn't she supposed to be defending him? Like she's just being like, well, yeah, he called her a piggy because he thinks she's a piggy. Like okay, all right.
Basis.
Go ahead. As a follow-up,
Yeah, Matt Saiga.
The Washington Post just reported that the Coast Guard has.
I'm calling on Bloomberg. Go ahead.
Caroline, thank you. 2 questions for you. The New York Times is reporting that.
Totally, Jason Ellick. Totally welcome, Jason Ellick. By the way.
To the G20, they're
right,
sending,
frankness.
Can you confirm if that is true, and then also explain the shift in?
I'd be happy to explain, because there is not a shift. The United States is not participating in official talks at the G20 in South Africa. I saw the South African president running his mouth a little bit against the United States and the president of the United States earlier today, and that language is not appreciated by the president or his team. The ambassador or the representative of the embassy in South Africa is simply there to recognize that the United States will be the host of the G20. They are receiving that send-off. at the end of the event. They are not there to participate in official talks, despite what the South African president is falsely claiming.
On Ukraine, there have been reports
Amazing
that
Matt guy.
President Zelensky said, you know, he's looking to look at the plan that there's been reports about the Trump administration proposing the plan.
Why not Antifa, right? We don't need any connections with the rest of the world. You know, who knows, right? Just cut them all off, apparently.
Anytime soon, or when can we expect that?
So I'm happy to
Right,
provide
Dolly.
an update.
Oh my
I've
God,
seen
Dolly boy,
quite
you're
a
not
bit of
wrong
reporting
at
on,
all.
The latest with Russia, Ukraine. So let me clarify.
Yep, she did. She just said said another leader was running his mouth, even though what does Trump do all the time?
Give you guys the truth on where it currently stands. President Trump has made it very
Outer
clear
signal.
since day one, and even on the campaign trail, that he wants to see this war come to an end. He has grown increasingly frustrated with both sides of this
Hasn't
war,
he ended
Russia
all the
and
wars
Ukraine
by now?
alike, for their refusal to commit to a peace agreement. But nevertheless, the president and his national security team are steadfast in seeing this war come to an end, to end the killing and deliver on the president's promise.
Totally
Special
Antifa,
Envoy
right?
Witkoff,
Yeah, isolationism always worked well in the past.
Marco Rubio have been working on a plan quietly for about the last month. They've been engaging with both sides, Russia and Ukraine, equally, to understand what these countries would commit to in order to see a lasting and durable peace. That's how you get to a peace negotiation, right? That's how it worked with Israel, with respect to Israel and Gaza and all of the Arab countries in the Middle East. That's how we accomplished that historic agreement, which the UN, by the way, voted to commit to and accept this week, which was a huge...
Well, don't you love how they selectively care about what the UN says? Like, the UN has tried to vote multiple times to condemn Israel's actions, call it a genocide and things like that. But only when the UN agrees with what they want are they like, but the UN says, as if they give a shit about the UN, right?
Monumental moment. So they have been engaged with both sides, and these talks are continuing. As always, I'm not going to litigate the details of this plan as it's ongoing. And
Totally, Meowzord. Hello, Meowzord. Great reference there. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yes, Matt. Yeah, there is basically no ceasefire. And you're right, Mithril. It was Russia that invaded. This is called false equivalence, where she's like, well, both sides are bad, but Ukraine and Russia bad.
It's in flux, but the president supports this plan. It's a good plan for both Russia and Ukraine, and we believe that it should be acceptable to both sides, and we're working very hard to get it done. And I'll also add, I know Secretary Driscoll did meet with President Zelensky today. We spoke with him. He was very optimistic following that meeting, and so again, we are having good conversations with both sides with respect to ending this war. Sure, go ahead.
Follow up on Ukraine. You said this is a good plan. So according to our sources, this proposal demands major concessions from Ukraine and doesn't demand much from Russia. So
my mic was muted. Okay, yes.
Your
anyway,
understanding is wrong. Have
I
you read
did.
the
So, I did, Meowzord. I took it in actually, and I'll tell you all a little bit after we're done with this. Okay.
You haven't.
Yes. So if you can give details,
You've read reporting from one side of the war, and so I want you to understand that the administration has talked equally with both sides. You have seen President Trump engage directly with both President Putin and President Zelensky. Likewise, his national security team has as well. In fact, Special Envoy Witkoff and Secretary Rubio met with some of the Ukrainians just in the past week to discuss this very plan.
How gracious of them to meet with the Ukrainians.
You saw with respect to Israel and Gaza, we are hearing out
exactly,
both sides of this war.
That's my thought, right?
What can you commit to end the war? And that's ultimately how we are going to get to an agreeable solution.
Antifa.
That's what the president has directed of his team. I know there's a lot of criticism out there and a lot of doubters, but I would just remind you of the historic success that this president and his team accomplished in the Middle East. We believe that is possible with Russia and Ukraine, and we're hoping and working very hard to achieve that.
No, Matt Saigai, I need a new motherboard. That's the issue. I'll explain to you all in a second.
A little more context on what to expect tomorrow with the Mamdani meeting. Will it be in the Oval Office, or is it going to be open at least partially to the press?
I don't have any more details to read out for you on the meeting quite yet, Stephen. I know
Right,
it's of great interest to you in the New York Post, but we'll keep. Maybe if it opens, we
could global. We could do that. Though she already is speaking all truth, right?
Thank you, Caroline.
I mean, that's
it
so. I
came up
guess it would just be
yesterday
copying
during,
whatever she's saying.
Confirmation hearing for the president's pick to lead the CFTC that the CFTC currently has 0 Democrat commissioners, whereas usually it's had 2 or more. Does the president plan to appoint Democrats to financial regulators like the CFTC and
evil,
SEC,
Malzord.
or does the president feel that there should be Democrat leadership at those agencies consistent with the administration's
Let's see. Well, okay, we'll watch a little more of this, and then we'll go on to a regular programming.
I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't spoken to the president
She
about
does Antifa.
the CFTC in quite some time, but I'm happy to check in with our presidential personnel office and
Soup cheese. Every computer needs a motherboard and a fatherboard. Okay.
Last week on Fox News, President Trump said that we had a lot of problems with the French. How would you describe the current relationship between France and the U.S.?
Look, the relationship remains very strong. President Trump speaks quite frequently with Emmanuel Macron.
That's for sure. He does speak frequently.
But the president is not shy
That
to
may
point
be
out when he
Rackenboy.
has disagreements with world leaders as well. And he's done that with respect to Mr. Macron as well. Deanna, go ahead.
Soup cheese, that is unnatural. It is unnatural to have anything different than just a mother and a fatherboard. What, you want 2 motherboards? That's so unnatural. Okay. 2 fatherboards? Jesus, that's bad for the child. Soup cheese. Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, Dolly Boy. I will put on the hat. I will put on the hat.
We were talking about earlier in this briefing about the president's orders. You were going back and forth about what the ad said, what it didn't say. My first question is...
That was perfect timing, Dolly Boy. Look, Dolly Boy supports what I said about motherboards and fatherboards.
The first question is, no matter what the order is, it could be to any administration official, military or otherwise, no matter if legal experts might think it's illegal, does the president expect those cabinet members, administrative officials to go ahead with those orders regardless of any outside thinking or experts?
The president expects his cabinet officials in the administration to follow the law and to demand accountability and hold people accountable for their dangerous rhetoric. And I would just add that if this were Republican members of Congress who were encouraging members of the military and members of our United States government to defy orders from the president and from the chain of command, this entire room would be up in arms. But instead, it is the other way around, and I think that's quite telling.
Yeah, because I don't think we all agree that that's what happened, right? I don't think we agree.
I appreciate the
oh my God, my shoulder.
encouragement this morning, but this afternoon. But President Trump is about to meet
cramps anyway
in minutes with Israeli hostages.
It is,
this administration freed, and so I'm going to go up to that meeting.
Jesus
and
Christ.
You'll hear more about that later. Thank you.
Okay, good. We're done with that. Jesus. All right. Okay, well, we're done with that. So disingenuous. That last part. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't care about anyone but himself and his wallet. That was good. That was good. I love that for us. That was good. Thank you so much, Dolly Boy. By the way, folks, if we get 2 more, I'll put on the collar. If we get up to 5, I never told you this. If we get up to 5, I'll put on the makeup. And then today, I don't know, Matt Saga. I think she was on Fox News or something. I would have to look. She literally did bounce. You're right. Oh, I know, right? Probably not probably good for your mental health, Jason, if you are inside this person's head. Soup cheese. It's very possible that it wasn't Bill. We don't know. We literally don't know. I don't trust him though. I don't trust Epstein's brother, but we really don't know. But it's fun to kind of assume. Okay, so a few things here. If we get to 5 super chats, I'll do the jester makeup. If we get to 7, we'll do a bonus. Well, I call it a bonus round, which is I will have to try and name in 15 minutes all the countries in the planet. If I can do it, then we will do a Jester After Dark stream without getting to 10. All right. If I can't do it, then I have to do the Jester After Dark stream without getting to 10 super chats. By the way, I'm allowed to make 5 mistakes. Or did I say 5? I think I said 10. I'm allowed to miss 10 countries because there's a lot of countries in the world, folks. So yes, that'll be that. And then it'll be like a quiz thing. There'll be like a quiz on the screen that only has 15 minutes, and then I'll have to name them all. Like today. So if we get to 7, I will have to quickly in 15 minutes try to list all the countries in the country with a timer on the screen using this quiz site where you have to do that. And then if I can do that, we have to get to 10 to get to the Jester After Dark stream. If I can't do that, then it will automatically do Jester After Dark. Okay. But if we get to 10, we'll do Jester After Dark anyway. Okay. I will not, SoCal. I will not. And you will know that I will not be all the countries in the world, I should say. Did I say in the country? All the countries in the world. And you will know I'm not cheating because I will be looking at the screen that I have pulled up in front of me. I won't be looking at my side computer here, okay? Because I also won't want to see the chat in case people are giving answers. All right. But so that's what we'll do. All right. So 3 caller, 5 makeup, 7 bonus round where I have to try to name all these countries, and then 10 automatic Jester After Dark. Okay. Yes, Dolly Boy. That's my hope. Though, admittedly, Dolly Boy, it's been a long time since I've had to do this, where I've actually had to list all the countries in the world. I know. So, hey, maybe I will be cheating. Not that you guys would know, right? But I can assure you, I won't be cheating. It's been a long time since I've had to list all those countries, so I may not do as well as I think I will. Okay. Also, another thing here. Okay. So Fox Emma, we don't know for sure. Okay, we just don't know for sure. We need more evidence. It could be Bill, it could be one of the horses, but like we don't have enough evidence. It's very unclear. Bubba is also a common phrase used by older people to talk about certain people. Like we just don't know. We need more evidence. Okay, so okay, a few things here, folks. First of all, I'm going to put my face up because I got some news for all of you. Some news for all of you that I think you'll like. Okay. Yeah, Bubba the Love Sponge is a content creator. Maybe it meant that guy. Okay. Here's another thing, right? Guess what? Yeah, it's old man. Yeah, Rob. Yeah, no, I know, Fox. Okay. First of all, here, thank you very much, Matt Sai guy, or your smart guy. Thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, one more, and we'll put on the caller. Okay. Guess what? We did it, folks. Well, yeah, our community did it. I just made it to 10,000 subscribers. Yay! 10,000 subscribers. Woo! 10,000 subscribers. That is a good milestone, don't you think? On the YouTube channel. 10,000 subscribers. Okay. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you, everyone. I see the little celebration. I was so excited. Well, I've been doing this for like what, 4 to 5 months. I think it is maybe 5 months. 5 months, about a little bit under half a year, and we're already at 10,000 subscribers. So we'll keep, we'll try to keep growing the channel and stuff. But yeah, it wasn't that exciting. I was very excited. Okay. Anyway, so there we go. We got 10,000 subscribers. Yay. Second of all here, I did take in my computer. Yeah, definitely thanks to you, Matt Psych. Okay, thank you everyone, by the way, who you all have helped. A lot of you have helped and such get me to that point. Your advice, your contributions and things like that have allowed me to do this. So thank you very much for that. It was really a group effort in a lot of ways. And some people have even been paid for that group effort. So thank you for everyone who's assisted. Okay. Also, we also got thank you, Signal. We also, I took in my computer, and thank you, Mithril. Okay, a lot of you are originals. It's kind of sweet because like a lot of you have been in with me here for a while, and you've been with me through this whole. This sounds so. Oh my God, this sounds so lived up through this journey. You've been with me through this journey, but you kind of have. Okay, I haven't been doing this for very long, and you guys have stuck with me despite my not being that experienced in this. Okay. Soup After Dark in the Discord, since I know all of you are here just for me. Soup cheese, amazing. Okay. I would love that, soup cheese. Okay. So another thing here, I took in my computer and I found out the reason why I keep having issues and stuff is because the motherboard is going bad, which is why sometimes the mic stops working and such. I've had some other issues too. For example, the battery on my computer doesn't work. I have to have it plugged in at all times or it stops turning on. So eventually I'm going to need to get a new computer. But regardless, we know now why. It's not the cord, it's not the microphone, it is the computer that is just kind of flopping out. So I'll need to get a new one, but that's okay. I did my sweet little, it's a laptop. I've had it for a while. I probably need a better computer anyway for doing this. Okay. So anyway, lastly, let's now move on to the good stuff, right? I have a presentation for you, as always, and then we'll get on to the fun stuff. Okay. Or for we'll get on to some other stuff. Okay. Yeah, it's okay though. It'll be fine. I just, it'll work. It'll work. I'll figure it out. So, okay. Let's briefly talk, as always, I got to do my little presentation. Let's talk about, okay. Yeah, Fox Emblem, but the motherboard, apparently they checked it out at Micro Center and the motherboard is going bad. It's not just the power supply and stuff. And the battery is fine. It's just that it has like a full charge and stuff. It just won't work. Okay, anyway. Because of the motherboard. All right, where'd my face go? So let's do a little presentation here. Thank you, Matt Saigai. Okay, so let's talk, and then we'll get back to some of the news items and things like that, right? So I've been very frustrated recently, folks. I mean, when am I not frustrated? I have a laptop, Fox Emblem. Okay, so I've been frustrated because I think you all know this, right? You probably all get frustrated about this too. You're right. I need to get a desktop pair, Mithril. So I grow very tired in this country of us always talking about the need for bipartisanship and compromise and bipartisanship, and compromise and bipartisanship and compromise. Okay, yeah. In a democracy, you sometimes need some compromise and shit. But as a historian, I can tell you that can oftentimes be a very bad thing. Very bad thing, especially if your goal is compromise over anything else, if like your only goal is to stop conflict by constantly compromising. Yep, Dolly boy. Okay. And is to constantly compromise like the Democrats recently did. Yeah, Antifa, exactly. And so I'm going to give you an historical example here from the United States that really backs this up. Now, does that mean that compromise is always bad? No. But when you only compromise and you exactly Skiddishkin and you ignore fundamental issues and you do not fix them and you continue to push them down the line, kick them down the road, eventually you're going to have a big problem, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So my presentation today is called Compromising Our Way to Hell: The U.S. Constitution, Civil War, and Weak Democracy. Okay? And, okay. So let's get into this. So here are some things about compromise and bipartisanship. Okay, let me just state a few things here, okay? Number one, bipartisanship often requires compromise. Makes sense, right? However, compromise often leaves both sides unhappy. So here's one flaw with compromise, and this is understandable, right? Sometimes it's inescapable. If you compromise, that means neither side is getting, exactly, Fox. I mean, if you compromise, neither side is going to get exactly what they want, so they won't be perfectly happy. Now, okay, that can happen sometimes. Now, if you only compromise, neither side is ever going to get what they want, are they? Because neither side is going to ever feel like they're fully getting what they want, and then that anger is going to grow, and it's going to start off small, and then over time, they're going to get more and more angry, and more and more angry, and more and more angry. So there's one thing, okay? Compromise often leaves both sides unhappy. That's one issue with compromise. Another one, compromise often fails to adequately address the problems. Yeah, Dolly boy, okay? Compromise often fails to adequately address the problems it seeks to fix. Compromised solutions, there might be a reason why I say compromised solutions, because that could be a way of using that word, are often watered down and ineffective. I can give you an example of this. Obamacare, right? That was sort of a compromise where the Democrats decided to approach healthcare by trying to have it both ways. Well, we can appease the corporate entities and the Republicans and stuff, even though they all voted against it, the Republicans did, by doing universal health care. I mean, not really universal health care, but giving more people health care by forcing them to buy from private companies. So it's kind of a compromise. More people get health care, but it's not universal socialized health care. And that it was still very ineffective, right? Because it still wasn't the full shebang and it was still massively ineffective. So the healthcare problem wasn't solved. There's other things like this too. Okay. Compromise solutions are often not, exactly. It had originally been Romney Care, Raccoon Boyo. So compromise solutions are often do not have the muster. Absolutely, Antifa. It's much more okay. Okay. It's much more fiscally responsible to do universal health care. Okay. Anyway, so oftentimes when you compromise, it will make it so that the original idea of fixing something doesn't really fix it because you scale back all that needs to be done for the sake of compromise. Right? Right. Okay. That's another issue. Right? Let's go to this next one here. Compromise requires a degree of false equivalence. False equivalence, which is something I cannot stand. I cannot stand. Okay. Which is where all sides are viewed as having legitimate concerns regardless of truth. Right. Right. You see this, by the way, a lot on mainstream media where they will have a right-wing host on, or a right-wing commentator and a left-wing commentator, not really left-wing, a liberal commentator, and they will disagree on camera, and it makes it appear that, okay, it makes it appear as if both sides have a legitimate point. Okay. Or like this can be taken, if we take this back like a decade or so, you have someone on that's like, evolution isn't real. Actually, this is more than a decade ago. Evolution isn't real. Another person say, no, evolution's real. And then they debate, and it's like, well, what's the point? Obviously, only one side of this has any point at all, has any evidence at all. So why are we doing this? Okay, why are we equating these sides even though one of them has evidence, the other one has no evidence? Okay. Yeah, exactly, JDH, exactly. Dolly Boy, gosh, you're so right here. Ida, totally right, Ida. You're right. You're right, Ida, that it happens all over the world, right? And compromise never needs either party satisfied, okay? Yeah, climate scientists versus okay, Meowzord 100%. Meowzord says compromise works best when both sides have a relatively similar reality. When the right shifts the Overton window to full Nazi, it's a lose-lose compromise. Totally, Meowzord, totally. And I actually forgot to mention that one, but you're right, Meowzord. For compromise to work, you also need both sides to have a shared view of reality, and both sides have to have the same goal, right? The goal, like, let's say you both have to have the goal of, like, let's do what's best for the country or for the people, right? So if you both have different goals and views of reality, how the hell is any compromise going to be beneficial at all? Okay, anyway. So, yep, yep, Antifa. So again, that's another problem. So those are only 3 problems with compromise. We can come up with other ones, all right? So let's now talk about the U.S. Constitution, shall we? Yep. So, okay. Here and by the way, sometimes you need compromise. This is okay. So I don't want to overgeneralize here. I'm angry at the moment. You have to understand we're talking too much compromise. Okay. If you keep kicking it down the road, anyway, if occasionally, if not most of the time, you need not compromise. Okay. So here we go. Either way, also compromise can be undemocratic because what if the majority of the country wants something, but the majority party decides to compromise for the sake of the minority party, so they don't even do what the majority of people want. Okay. Yeah. So let's continue. So the U.S. Constitution, we worship the U.S. Constitution in this country. We do. Okay. And I got to tell you, I'm not saying this because I'm lib-pilled. The U.S. Constitution is really good in some ways. In some ways, it's a pretty brilliant document. I'm not just saying that. In other ways, it's really, really effed up. Okay, and I'm talking about like how it sets up a government. It's brilliant in some ways, effed up in other ways. Okay, So let's okay. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about some of the ways in which the US Constitution is messed up. And the reason it's messed up that way is because of compromise. Literally. Okay. It would be much better document if there weren't so many compromises in it. So here we go. So the US Constitutional Convention, where they wrote this document, okay, was basically a collection of independent states, which were essentially independent countries. It's best to view them that way at this point. They were essentially independent countries, these colonies. Okay. They got together and they attempted to balance out the individual power of their own governments with the need for a unified national government. Kind of contradictory, right? And these states had differing ideologies, economies, populations, okay, things like that. And in order to ensure a United States, compromises were made in the Constitution so that all states would ratify it, okay? Because, they needed everyone to be on board or it wouldn't work. So if a state didn't want something, wanted something, they would just threaten to not ratify it or to pull out, and that would ruin it. So then they'd have to give in to the state. Okay, so two of those compromise. There's other ones I could talk about. I'm going to talk about two of the big ones. Two of these compromises was one, the Great Compromise, and two, the 3/5 Compromise. So let's talk about the Great Compromise. Oh, don't you worry, Dolly boy. We'll get there, okay? The Great Compromise. You see, this is number one. We're going to talk about several compromise things here, too, but these first two are in the U.S. Constitution. First one. So, in the beginning, when the earth was without form and void. Okay, anyway. In the beginning, there was this plan that they had at the Constitutional Convention that, so the U.S. government, the U.S. legislature is bicameral. It has the House of Representatives and the Senate, right? Okay. The original plan here, even though I don't think there should have been a Senate at all, the original plan here was that the House of Representatives would be elected and proportional to population, like it is now. So every state would get a certain number of reps based off the population of that state, equal to about 50,000 people per rep, okay? And they would be elected by the people to represent the people. They would have 2-year terms. All right. And in the Virginia plan, the second part of this was the Senate, so the members of the upper house, would be nominated by the state legislature, so by the individual state governments, and then elected by the House of Representatives and be proportional to population. So, although it wasn't directly democratic in that these senators weren't elected by the people, they were the number of senators each state would get would be proportional to population. Okay, not perfect, but not bad. All right, not perfect, but not horrible. Well, that really upset some of the states, especially the teeny tiny states like Rhode Island, for example, which were and New Jersey, et cetera, because they were very small states. And they were very scared that because they were small and they had small populations, that meant they wouldn't have much power in the new government. Because if everything was based off population, well, then clearly they'd be outvoted all the time, right? Right? I mean, who cares about democracy? Our states need more power because all that matters are our people, not everyone in the country. So the Continental Congress came up with a compromise so that these small states would ratify the Constitution. And the compromise is what we have today. So the House of Representatives would, in fact, be elected and proportional to population, but the Senate, every state would get 2 senators. It doesn't matter what your population is. Every state would get 2 senators, regardless of population. Okay. And by the way, yeah, Dolly boy, it is. Okay. And all coming out of this, by the way, was the idea of the Electoral College. All right. And later, during the 17th Amendment, later, according to the 17th Amendment, this meant that the 17th Amendment made it so that these senators were elected. Originally, they were not elected. They were chosen by the state legislatures. Okay, anyway. So that leads to things like this happening, where the state, for example, of Wyoming, which has a population of about 587,000, gets 2 senators. And the state of California, which was 39.4 million, has 39.4 million people, also gets 2 senators. And they have equal votes in the Senate. Kind of seems undemocratic, don't it? Don't it seem a bit undemocratic? Hell, the city of Washington, D.C. has more people in it than some states and has no senators or no reps. Okay. So, on top of that, by the way, the Senate is also elected every 6 years, so not very democratically responsive to begin with. So that's a small problem, okay, with compromise, right? It's very inefficient. This is inefficient and it's anti-democratic, is it not? In order to bow to the power of the states, right? Okay, isn't it true that given their less population? Yeah, Matt Saigai, but we're not talking about their population. Well, no, their government would be given less of a say, not their population, right? Because if it was done proportional to representation, if it was done proportional to representation, their people would be represented. But the way that this is, their people have more political power than people from larger states. Okay, makes sense. So in the way we're doing it now, smaller states actually have more power. Okay, even though they're still small. Okay, that's undemocratic, is it not? All right, so that's a small one. That's a small one. That was sort of a taster, sort of a what is it called? An appetizer. Matt Saigai, I think I don't know if you're understanding here what I'm saying. Yeah, but would they have equal right to those who have more? Yeah, they would have equal rights. What do you mean, Matt Saigai? They would have equal rights. They absolutely would have equal rights. So, I mean, the people of small states will still have equal rights. They just wouldn't have as many reps in Congress. They wouldn't have as many senators in Congress as the bigger states, which makes sense because reps are supposed to represent the people. Okay. Yep. Antifa, correct. All right. So that's kind of a weird thing. That's sort of a small thing, but that drives me crazy. All right. And the Electoral College, by the way, is part of this. I'm not talking about the Electoral College this time, which is also part of a compromise, but that's also extremely anti-democratic. Okay, here we go. Let's go talk about the 3/5 clause. Hello, London. Okay. So this is going to get out of hand. So that first one was quick and easy. This one's going to, all right. So in 1770, this was the population of each of these. Hello, London. Hello, London. The population of the colonies was, there was various populations, and some of these states most of these states had some number of enslaved people. But the vast majority of these enslaved people were in the southern United States. Here is a map showing you which states had the most enslaved people. This is from 1770. It changed a bit after 1776, but it was still relatively about the same. You can see that in Georgia and South Carolina, about 60% of the population were enslaved people. North Carolina, Virginia, large populations of enslaved people. And then New York actually had a fairly large population of enslaved people too. But a lot of these were okay. Yes, but Matt Saigai, that is not the same as state representation. There is minority representation. Minorities are protected by the 10 amendments to the Constitution. Oh no, I know that is also crap. That is also crap, Matt Saigai. But like small states is not the same. That's just undemocratic. It's giving people in small states more say than people in large states. Okay. Right, and they shouldn't, in my opinion, be separate states to begin with, right? They should just be, I mean, they can be like administrative units. Anyway, I know I'm kind of radical. Okay. So here we got this. So there were many more enslaved people in the South. Right. Okay, so here we have an issue. So here's the thing. This caused a lot of compromises because the South was like really very pro-slavery, a bunch of monsters living down there, slave lovers. And the southern states, for the sake of figuring out, for the sake for the sake for the state where I'm sorry, I'm having a mind blank here. Oh, for the sake of measuring how many reps each state would get, okay, Matt Guy, they're governments. They're not, it's not like there's I don't. Okay, we'll stop arguing about this, Matt Guy. I don't know how better to explain it to you. Democracy is about representing people. It's not about representing governments. And if we say that a small state deserves more representation because that government has fewer people in it, that doesn't make sense. They're all Americans, are they not? Okay, so does that mean the bigger states, the people that live in bigger states where there are more people, don't deserve less power because they just happen to live in a bigger state? It's not about minorities at all. There's nothing to do with minorities involved in this. It's about these states wanting to maintain their power, which is why they did it. Okay, anyway, so here we go. So the southern states, everyone was trying to get as many representatives in Congress as possible. So you want to make sure you have the biggest population possible so you can get as many reps in the House of Reps as possible. So the southern states, in their infinite evil, said that, well, you know, a large part of our populations are enslaved people. We should count enslaved people towards our population. They can't vote, they have no rights, but they should count towards counting our population so that we get more reps. Okay. So that's what the southern states wanted. They wanted enslaved people to count as people for the sake of getting more votes. Then the northern states are like, no, you don't get to count enslaved people just so you can get more votes. That they don't have any right to vote. You treat them like property. This is a contradiction. You're just trying to counteract the North's power. And that's largely true. The South was worried that the North would get too much power and then would be able to get rid of slavery. All right. So, Matt Guy, I mean, no offense to you, but that they made the argument you're making, Matt Guy. You're taking away the southern states' rights by not letting us have more votes. Okay. You're taking away our right to own slaves by saying that we don't have enough votes, by not giving us enough votes to vote against the North. Now, I know you're not talking about slavery, Matt Saiga. I'm just saying, you see how that can be applied there, okay? Okay. And the North is like, no, they don't count as votes because they're not voting, all right? So they compromise, because compromise is always a good thing, right? Compromise is always a good thing. And they came up with something called the 3/5 compromise, which basically stated the following. Okay. They decided, for the sake of compromise, that each enslaved person would be counted as 3/5 of a person, right? For the sake of determining representation in the House of Reps. Okay. So it's literally written in the Constitution that enslaved people are 3/5 of a person for the sake of determining, for the sake, of determining whether they are human beings and how many, and whether they count as for taxes and things like that. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? Right? Love that for us. Great compromise there. Compromise is always great. Love that the North compromised on that. By the way, that also protected the South from ever having slavery overturned, because it gave them so many more votes that they could always vote down any attempt to end slavery. Okay. All right. By the way, on a side note here, because of the 3/5 compromise, Jefferson won the Jefferson won the 1800 election. He wouldn't have won it because he was a Southern slave owner. He wouldn't have won it unless they had done the 3/5 compromise. So, okay, that seems kind of undemocratic. And by the way, that also means, since enslaved people aren't voting, the votes of their masters were the ones that counted. Okay, so that also gave more power to slave owners because their votes. Thank you, Raccoon Boyo. Good luck at work. Yeah, great bipartisan compromise there, right? It gave more power to slave owners because their votes mattered more, because it wasn't only their votes, it was their slaves' votes, okay, who weren't actually voting. So they added more slavery compromises. More slavery compromises. All right. Number one, these are direct quotes from the American Constitution. Article 9, Clause 1. The South, by the way, was threatening to still not sign the Constitution because they wanted more protections for slavery because, you know, can't work yourselves, got to have other people do it for you because you're lazy monsters, okay? It basically said this. Article 9, Clause 1, the migration or importation of such persons as any of these states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited. So basically, they added a provision to the Constitution that made it illegal to ban the slave trade for the first 20 years of the country. So they literally there is a provision in the Constitution that says, by the way, you can't even debate whether it's legal to import slaves for the first 20 years of the country. They added that in there as a compromise to keep the South happy. Okay, can't even debate it. Can't vote on it. Okay. I don't know. Did I put the wrong one up there, SoCal? Who knows? Okay. Article 9, Clause 1. Next thing here, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 3. They also were very upset because they knew the northern states didn't like slavery, or at least a lot of folks in the North didn't like slavery, didn't want to be involved with it. So the South demanded that a provision be added to the Constitution. I don't know. I don't know. I should look it up, SoCal. Maybe it was out on later. Okay. I'm sorry. Not Article 9. Okay. I'm sorry. Section 9. Thank you, London World. God, look, I'm supposed to be a historian here. It's Section 9, Clause 1. So they added this. Okay. Article 4, Section 2, Clause 3. In order to protect their slaves, because they viewed them as property, in case those slaves escaped to the North, Northerners would have to return those slaves because they aren't human beings, they're property. So the North can't actually help escaped slave people because they're not humans. They're slaves, and they made sure that was written into the Constitution. No person held to service or labor in one state under the laws thereof, escaping into another, shall in consequence of any law or regulation therein be discharged from service or labor. Therefore, you know, if our slaves escape, you can't free them, you can't be nice to them, you have to return them to the South. Okay. Some lovely compromises, right? Don't we all love bipartisan compromise? Okay. So there's an example of some other compromises in the U.S. Constitution that were kind of gross, kind of weird. Okay, like the compromise between the big states and the little states to help the small states, and then the compromise. Okay. Right. Well, yeah. So you're generally right. You're generally right, London. Though, as you know, London, further up in history, there was a lot more anti-slavery sentiment in the North. A lot more. So at first, yes, but there were people that were still upset about it even at the time. Okay. So let's now talk about this next thing. Okay. So we talked about the Great Compromise. And you know that where the small states and the big states. We talked about the Three-Fifths Compromise and the banning of the slave trade. This one also has to do with slavery, but it is not much of an exaggeration that says that the bloodiest war in American history, the American Civil War, where about 600,000 people died, which if the same percentage of people died in the country today, it would be about 6 million people dying today. Okay. Okay. So it was not exaggeration to say that compromise was one of the big reasons that the Civil War happened. Compromising over and over and over again, and refusing to actually just end slavery. Okay. It may have happened anyway, but it definitely didn't help all the compromises. So let's go on here. Okay. You know, you're right. Yeah, there were multiple founding fathers who hated slavery. I know a lot of them had no problem with slavery. Okay, I got to be honest with you, but there were some who hated it. Thomas Paine hated slavery. Benjamin Franklin formed the first abolitionist society, like right after the American Revolution. As a matter of fact, folks, there were several northern states who immediately after the American Revolution banned slavery. So I get that there's a lot of hatred towards the time period and stuff, and yeah, I don't blame you, but we do need a little bit of nuance here. Uh, even though most people were very racist, admittedly, the northern states did ban slavery pretty quickly, right after the end of the American. A lot of them did, right after the end of the American Revolution. So not all of them were complete hypocrites. That being said, okay. Um, John Adams was against slavery. Well, generally. Okay. Anyway, so compromise and civil war. So let's talk about how this happened, right? Let's talk about how compromise led you. Okay. Matt Saigai, I'll look at that in a second. Okay. I've got to keep going here. Okay. So I know, right? Trump failed. All right. So let's talk about compromise. Okay. All right. So, all right. So let's look at this. So here is another. He was one of the founders, Ida. He was one. There were a bunch of people that we call the founders. It's kind of a misnomer, but yeah, he was one of what we call the founding fathers, I guess you could say. Okay. So here we go. So here's an issue, right? We talked about slavery. I talked about how the northern states were basically against slavery. I'm oversimplifying here, but over time they were definitely against slavery, and the southern states were pro-slavery over time. You got an issue here because as the United States expanded westward, and by the way, I'm going to be a monster. I'm going to ignore the fact that they were slaughtering and genociding the natives living there just for the sake of argument, but just know that there was a lot of slaughter and ethnic cleansing going on when they did move out west. But anyway, this became an issue because, as I said, you now have slave states and non-slave states balancing each other out in Congress so that no one can end slavery because there are enough Southerners there to vote against ending slavery. So this became an issue. In 1805, Jefferson purchased a large swath of land from Napoleon called the Louisiana Purchase. It's in green, okay? And this immediately caused a big blow up between the North and the South because both sides were like, we want those new territories to be slave states or slave states or non-slave states, right? The North is like these new states should be non-slave states. The South was like they should be slave states. Why? So that they would be enough representation in Congress to stop the end of slavery or to allow slavery to end. So what do you think they did? Because God, we love compromise in this country. God, we love compromise in this country. Yes, Big Braden, okay? They compromised in order to prevent civil war from happening and so they decided to protect slavery rather than just ending it in order to, protect the nation. So this is what they did. So following the Louisiana Purchase, Congress was compelled to establish a policy to guide the expansion of slavery into the new Western Territory. Missouri's application for statehood as a slave state sparked a bitter national debate. In addition to the deeper moral issue posed by the growth of slavery, the addition of pro-slavery Missouri legislators would give the pro-slavery faction a congressional majority. So, okay, right. So this is how they compromised this. This is the Missouri Compromise. They decided to balance it out. Totally, Dolly Boy. They decided to balance it out. So the Missouri Compromise said this. Maine, a new state called Maine, which was up here for the if you can't see my screen here, you probably can't. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a little gray area. That would be Maine. They decided that, okay, how about this? In order to balance it out, we will say that Maine will be admitted as a free state. Missouri will be admitted as a slave state in order to keep the number of free and slave states equal. And then they drew a line at the 3630 parallel in order to prevent future conflict that basically said any state established above this line would automatically be a free state, and any state established below this line would automatically be a slave state. It's shown here. You see this line? I don't know if you can see this line right here. that red line, that's called the Missouri line or the Mason-Dixon line. They basically said any new state founded above this line would be a free state, and any state founded below it would be a slave state. Just to keep everyone happy, and might as well keep the slavery going, right? Who cares about the morality? You got to keep the country together for the sake of compromise and bipartisanship. And let's be honest, folks, we can see the Democrats doing this today, right? I could totally see them compromising. And they would probably still compromise on slavery even today, right? Oh, Dolly boy, you are getting ahead of me, all right? So by the way, folks, what do you think this did? This just furthered the tension. Because as I said before, Northern abolitionists got even more angry because they didn't get what they wanted. Southern pro-slavery people got even more angry because they weren't getting what they wanted. No one was getting what they wanted. And every side was getting angrier and angrier. And then, of course, we have to add in the other part to this, which was slavery bad. So the morality of this was horrific, compromising to keep slavery. All right, let's continue. It got even more messed up, folks. It got more messed up because, America in its infinite, always defending freedom type bullshit, conquered a huge swath of Mexican territory in the Mexican-American War, which is shown here in orange. Including Texas and the New Mexico territory in California, conquered it. And now you got an issue. You got an issue because remember that Missouri Compromise line? Well, that Missouri Compromise line goes right through California. Texas also is right through it. So do you split the states, these new territories, in half and make half of them slave and half of them free? Okay, so So this, by the way, further increased tension, and this is a quote from the time. Actually, no, this is a quote from a history book. The tumult of that period was severe, with a loaded, literally, it started getting super tense in Congress because of this. The tumult of that period was severe, with a loaded revolver drawn on the floor of Congress, several fistfights between Northerners and Southerners in Congress, and then Senator Jefferson Davis challenged an Illinois representative to a duel. Southern representatives increasingly bandied about the idea of secession. So things are getting more tense. Things are getting more tense. Okay? Things are getting more tense. By the way, this is just a side note. Isn't this man look monstrous and horrifying? This is John C. Calhoun. London, you're not wrong. You, sir, I want my slaves. We shall duel at high noon. That is not much of an exaggeration, London. This is John C. Calhoun, who was a monstrous human being, one of the loudest supporters of slavery, who used to give very loud, rousing speeches and write loud dialogues for papers defending slavery. He looked, I feel like, okay, if anyone's seen Lord of the Rings and knows Gollum, also known as Smeagol, how like the ring rotted him and destroyed him. And I feel like this guy probably didn't look this bad when he was younger, but over time, the evil within him just made him sort of rot from the inside out. And he ended up looking like this monstrous, scary human being. That's just my opinion. I'm sure it's scientifically verifiable. So this is John C. Calhoun, a monstrous human being. Loved having enslaved people. Loved women and children and men. Doesn't matter if you're women or children. Men being enslaved and beating them and things like that and killing them. Okay, massive defender of slavery. Then you got these two idiots, which you could best compare to. You could basically say that this was Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries of the time, because these two were the ones. This is Henry Clay and Daniel Webster, who were always trying to compromise for the sake of compromise. They kept saying they're the ones that sort of negotiated a lot of these compromises against, anyway. And they were the ones who were always like, we need to compromise to save the country. It doesn't matter. We need to compromise. We can't settle the issue of slavery. Let's just compromise. Literally, so here we got, I don't know, Mitch McConnell? Well, no, not Mitch McConnell. He's not around anymore. And then we got Hakeem Jeffries here and Chuck Schumer, actually Henry Clay and Daniel Webster. But anyway, these two guys were constantly trying to compromise. Okay, so as I said, we now have all this territory out west that needs to be fixed. And so they get, again, what do you think they did? They compromised. Because why the hell not, right? Who cares about slavery? We got to save the country. So they agreed that California, see, isn't it, this is just like also weird, like being like, okay, fine, this state will be free, this state will be enslaved. Like, it's so arbitrary, is it not? Totally, Fox Emblem. Okay, the Compromise of 1850. So California would be admitted as a free state automatically. But of course, that massively pissed off the South. Thank you, Ida. Thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, I'll put on the caller. Thank you, Ida. All right, thank you, Ida. We could put on the caller. Excellent. Okay. And because New Mexico and Utah were okay, let me just show you here. So New Mexico and Utah, which are up here, okay, were technically above the Missouri Compromise line. So technically they should be free states. But the Democrats, I'm sorry, not the Democrats. I'm getting mixed up. The Whigs, which were the Democrats of the time, basically, okay, they were called, basically said, well, you know what? Those shouldn't be free states because we need to appease the South. So they said to the South, okay, fine, we won't make New Mexico and Utah free states. The people there can vote. We will leave it up to the people of those states whether or not those states are free or slave. Okay. So they decided to do that. Even though originally it had been agreed the other way. And while slavery itself remained, and then they also compromised, the South compromised and said, okay, well, you can ban slavery in the U.S. Capitol. That's fine. But you still are allowed to sell and buy people there. You're just not allowed to use slaves in D.C. Okay. And then lastly, in order to appease the South, they passed a new and more stringent law that was required all citizens, including those in free states, to assist in the capture of enslaved people. And it also, that law that they passed, denied enslaved fugitives a jury trial, which would make it much harder for them to prove that they were actually enslaved. And by the way, what this ended up resulting in is a bunch of free people of color in the North being abducted, taken into the South and enslaved. But hey, for the sake of compromise, it's okay. So that was the compromise in 1850, and this enraged the northern states. By the way, it massively enraged the progressive members of the Whig Party, which is like the modern Democratic Party, because it was the moderate members of the Whig Party that agreed to this. Does that sound familiar? Last one here, because as you see, things are getting worse and worse and worse. Okay. I know, London World. It got even worse because in 1854, there were two new territories that needed to be decided, and that was Nebraska and Kansas. And again, yeah, Dolly Boy, okay. Once again, the slave states were mad, okay, because according to the Missouri Compromise, the new territories should be free states, but that would mess up the balance in Congress. So they were not. They did not want that to happen. So the northern states again decided to compromise. The Whigs did, and they decided to put those territories also up for a vote to decide if they were going to be free or slave. And the anti-slavery North was willing to compromise to basically save the Union, they said. Okay. And they decided also to completely repeal the Missouri Compromise because it was just causing too many problems. So in the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854, they compromised and decided to repeal the Missouri Compromise and establish popular sovereignty in the new territories, which meant that those territories themselves got to decide, but through vote, whether they were slave or free. Now, the right wing, as always, is not willing to act, is dishonest and doesn't actually want to have real elections. The slave owners just wanted power, and they knew that they might lose the election, so they cheated. So something happened called Bleeding Kansas, where each side of the slavery question suddenly saw Yeah, thank you so much, Ida. Each side of the slavery question saw a chance to assert itself in Kansas before the vote, and it quickly became a battleground. Almost exactly, Dolly Boy. Almost like almost a literal battleground. Okay, it became a battleground for the whole country's ideological fight over slavery. And it quickly became one of the most violent places in the country. So immediately, a bunch of immigrants started rushing into Kansas in order to establish residency so that they could vote for or against slavery. So it was mainly the Southerners did this. A bunch of Southerners started rushing into Kansas, establishing residency just so they could vote for it to be a pro-slavery state. So then a bunch of abolitionists and anti-slavery people also started rushing into the state to establish residency so they could vote against slavery. And then it got violent because all these people rushing into the state started shooting at each other. Including mainly pro-slavery people started rushing in there, called Southern Yankees, mostly from Missouri. And they swayed the vote, okay? Because on the day that they were voting, a bunch of these Southerners swept in and voted illegally. And it was easy to do at the time. They swept in, voted illegally, and was able to ensure that it was a slave state. And violence and open street battles broke out between the pro-slavery and the anti-slavery people. Okay. Here's an image on the right of Bleeding Kansas. All right. And by the way, on a side note, for the lovers of John Brown in here, I know I'm one of them, used to have a portrait of John Brown. Yeah, it was like the Wild West, London. John Brown, for those who know, a great hero, okay, led his sons into Kansas. He led his sons and other followers into Kansas and decided to murder a bunch of anti-slavery, pro-slavery people, and actually seized 5 pro-slavery men from their homes and hacked them to death with broadswords. You know, I'm not pro-violence, but I'll leave that on you. I'll just leave that for you. Okay, I'll leave that for you. All right. Okay. No, Trump failed. Hey, it's not Kansas's fault, right? At this time, it's not Kansas' fault. It was the government's fault. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I didn't say that, Antifa. I'm not saying call out the Chainbreaker back here, which was responsible for the death of 7 slave owners. I'm just saying John Brown did do that, and he proceeded to try to launch a revolution. Okay, there you go, big brain. All right. Gotta love John Brown though for many reasons, even though he was a bit of a religious nut. Understandable though. Okay. And by the way, it got even more tense because there was an incident in Congress where these 2 senators, one was a Southerner, one was a Northerner, one was an abolitionist, one was pro-slavery. The Southerner got offended because one of the Northerners, anti-slavery people, basically called them out in Congress. Many ways, soup cheese. Okay. Okay. All right. Got mad at him and took his cane and started beating him in the middle of Congress. Oh, Trump failed. Forgive me. Okay, well, Missouri too. And so this was getting pretty tense because of all these compromises, which all it did was make people angrier. It did not solve the underlying problem at all. At all. And it just kind of pushed out the conflict that was coming. And eventually what happened, and folks, let's compare this to today. Let's compare this today because the reason I'm doing this presentation is I see so many parallels, and obviously it's not exactly the same as slavery, and I don't necessarily think there's going to be a civil war yet. Okay, we haven't reached that point, but how does this sound familiar to you? So the Whig Party, which was basically like the slightly left-wing, the more left-wing party at this time, let's put it that way, kind of like the Democrats, all right? They're the ones that kept compromising, right? And with the South, with the Democrats of the South. It was literally called the Democratic Party at the time. That's why I'm saying the Democrats of the South, okay? But they kept compromising, which really made the progressive wing of their party angry. Oh, I would love to, Ida. Thank you, okay? They kept compromising slavery. Okay, they kept compromising on the issue of slavery, and all that did was that it alienated the progressive wing of the Whig Party. Does that sound familiar? They kept compromising, okay, over and over again, and all it did, I keep saying it, and all it did was anger over and over again the left wing of their party, to the point where the Whig Party fractured, okay? the Whig Party fractured and destroyed itself because the progressives ended up leaving the Whig Party and forming their own party. And the Whig Party kind of dissolved. The rest of it, the moderates, kind of dissolved. Some of them joined the Democrats. Other ones joined their own party, which ended up failing. And because they just didn't listen to the progressive wing of their party, the abolitionist wing. And what ultimately ended up happening is that the abolitionists broke off and formed a new anti-slavery party called the Republican Party. For those that are confused, no, they're not the same. They are the same parties that are around today, but not in name only, okay? The Republican Party and the Democratic Party switched ideologically much later in history. But the Republican Party at the time was the anti-slavery party. And it broke into two. And it was the election of the first Republican president, okay? President Lincoln. This is when the South then declared independence and begun the Civil War. So, okay. Right. So, okay. Let me put my face back up. That's it. That's the end of the presentation. So, do we see a comparison today? I am deeply concerned because more and more people in this country have zero faith, for example, in the Democratic Party, especially Democrats, because the Democrats constantly compromise, constantly give in to the Republicans for the sake of bipartisanship and corruption, constantly do all this shit, ignore the will of their own party, right? Ignore the will of the growing progressive wing of the party. There is even talk beginning of the progressive, of starting a new party. And all we keep doing is kicking these big issues down the road. All they do is keep kicking these big issues down the road, like issues of healthcare, issues of campaign corruption, issues of housing, issues of whatever it may be. They just keep kicking it down the road, and more people getting angrier and angrier. You see what I mean? And eventually, someone has to take a stand and end slavery. It's going to end badly anyway, right? It's going to end badly. It'll be something that likely there will be resistance if you end slavery or not. Rather than keeping the slavery, get rid of the slavery, or in this case, instead of keeping the corruption and keeping the bad healthcare and things like that, you better do something about it. Okay. Do you see what I mean? So continuous compromise can be disastrous, especially if you're just ignoring what the people want. And by the way, in this case, it's undemocratic. The majority of people want universal health care. The majority of people want campaign corruption to be dealt with. And this just being ignored for the sake of compromise, even though to an extent it's also just bipartisan because they're all corrupt. All right? It can lead to something like a blow up like the Civil War. Now, obviously not exactly the same, but do you see what I mean? All right. Okay, I'll shut up. 1 second. All right, guys. So there's my presentation. So compromise can be disastrous. Disastrous. Okay. Any questions on that? Any comments on that? I know I was just talking at you for a very long time. And I think we see that a lot with the Democratic Party. It just drives me insane. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's go on to the next thing here. Yeah, we can talk about the switch. Okay. Oh, you're global. You're not wrong, right? Like why do we suddenly find money to send to what, like Argentina or wherever we sent it? I can't remember now. Yeah, Argentina. Like we find money to randomly send to other countries. Anyway, we don't find enough for universal health care or whatever. We have plenty. What, Matt Saigai? What about Matt? Oh yeah, I forgot about Matt Saigai's comment here. Let me answer it now. I have to find it now though. It was long ago. Matt Saigai, do you mind copying and pasting? And I lost it. I just couldn't respond to it right away. If someone could find it. Okay, but regardless, so let's go on to the next thing. So what I want to do now, okay? now that we've talked about the danger of compromise. So yesterday we talked about fashion and some of the things with it. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, London World. In a federal system, this is what Matt Saigai says. In a federal system, states rely on the federal government for funding and programs. Since most funding, first of all, before I even read the rest of Matt Saigai, I don't think there should be a federal system. That's one of my big issues here. I think a federal system is stupid. Because a federal system, we can let's turn them into administrative units, not a goddamn federal system, which is like the country basically going against itself in a lot of ways, because you have all these independent governments within a larger government, which makes it really hard to do things. Anyway, states rely on federal government for funding and programs. Since most funding decisions are made in the House with representation, Matt Saiga, I can promise you, those states are still so small and have such little representation that they still don't have much of a say in this stuff. But there are laws that protect these states in a lot of ways, okay? From like bias and things like that. But regardless, it doesn't matter. They don't have enough representation as it is to get a lot of things. But they're still they're also not like poor. I don't know how to phrase this. It's not causing an issue, Matt Saiga. Let's put it that way. It is not causing an issue. Because the laws that the Congress passes are typically fairly fair when it comes to states and things like that. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Ida. If everyone has the same rules, it's easier. It's just complicated and okay. A balance of influence. Smaller states have a meaningful voice in national decisions, unless the federal structure is differently set up. Okay, Matt Saiga. Oh, I understand that, Matt Saiga. I will say this though, Matt Saiga. Like India, it's different than this, but it's different than the United States. Like the origins of the United States was as a bunch of. We have way too much federalism, Matt Saiga. Like our states have way too much power, and it has often been used as an excuse to abuse people within the states, like during segregation, slavery, things like that. In India, they don't have as much power as they do in the United States. So maybe we can. But that's fair, Matt Saiga. Okay. Thank you, Dolly Boy, very much, Dolly Boy. Okay, you know what? I think we only need. Thank you again, Dolly Boy. You're the best, Dolly Boy. Yeah, I know. It'll take a long time. Yeah, and that's the thing, Matt. So I guess Matt Saiga, I actually after reading your thing, you're right. But there's more to this in that like our states have way too much power. Like they will use their power to suppress. Thank you, Trump failed. Okay, they will use their power to suppress rights and things like that for individuals. But I understand you, Matt Saiga. Okay, forgive me. You'll notice, folks, I get a little defensive about the state thing for a lot of things because in the United States, a lot of time the states' rights argument. Well, the Americans here know the states' right argument is often used to oppress minorities and things like that. It was one of the excuses for the Civil War was that the southern states were like, we want to protect our states' rights. They really meant the right to have slaves. Okay. So let's go on now. I got something for all you. Based off what we just talked about. Exactly, John Gray. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All about Dolly Boy, you know your American history very well. Okay. I'm gonna quickly pull up something. So sorry, that was a very teachery statement, Dolly, but I'm like, good job, Dolly Boy. You know your American history. Forgive me. I didn't mean to sound condescending. Okay. So I found this video. I thought based off what we've been talking about, where'd I put this thing? I found a lovely video from Prageru. Yay, Prageru. Hey, okay. About okay, Prageru 3/5 compromise. They did a video on the 3/5 compromise. Okay, excellent, Dolly. Okay. All right. Because since we just talked about it, I am terrified to know what Prageru is going to say. So, oh boy, right. So I'm going to where is this? Okay. So I'm going to, as always, I'm going to very quickly here set this up so I can do a reaction to this because God help us. God help us all. Let's do a quick reaction to this video. I don't think it'll be great, obviously, but let's see. Device default. There we go. Okay. There's my face. Boom. Yay. All right. So, Prageru did a video. Can everyone see it, by the way, on the... Oh, I know you guys can't see it over there. I'll make sure you can see it. Can you see it now? Can everyone on YouTube see it? I know sometimes I forget to put it over there. There we go. Okay. So, oh, I know they are Antifa. This is why it'll be fun, right? It'll be fun. So let's see. You all know I have like an obsession with Prageru because I'm so pissed that they're being shown in schools. I know it's a big shame, Big Braden. Big shame. Hope he recovers quickly. All right. So, well, that was my fault. I actually knocked out the cord on that one. So let's see what they have to say about slavery, shall we? Yay! Okay. So you all know what I'm going to do. I will be avoiding reading the chat while I'm doing this, just for the sake of I really do. London, it's more than once, okay? But did you hear, London? I found out that my my motherboard is dying. Hey, this was the first time in a long time I've actually knocked. It's that time was the motherboard. I didn't. How dare all of you? I don't want to hear any of your comments. Okay. All right. Let me. Okay. So let's. I flicked all you off because I knew. Don't you dare, London. Don't you laugh at me, Big Braden. I don't want to see that. I mean, okay. Don't. Hey, don't. Nope. Nope. Yeah. Okay. No one. That was coincidental. Right. Okay. Let's do it now. It did, London. It did. Okay. All right, guys. So let's do this. I'll try. Let's see what I can do here. You're right. So okay, I love all those dirty Russian websites. Okay. Anyway. And when I took my computer and I'm like, don't open up those files. Anyway. Okay. Oh, God help us. All right, there we go. I'm going to do my little spiel. Make sure everyone can hear me, etc. Make sure this is good volume.
One of the most misunderstood
blah,
clauses
blah, blah,
in the
blah,
United
blah. Sorry,
States.
just checking the volume. Okay. All right, guys. Let's see what happens. You know what I'm going to do. Let's go. Welcome back to Casual Revolt. I'm Casual Revolt. Today we are going to be reacting to another Prageru video. This one is called "Why the Three-Fifths Compromise Was Anti-Slavery." Oh, good Lord. The last ones, Prageru videos we've reacted to that had to do with slavery have been pretty horrific. I also like to point out that I want you all to see, you see I'm wearing this jester outfit. If you come to my live streams, there's a reason I'm wearing this outfit. It has to do with my live streams. Jesters were the critics of kings. So if you don't think I'm crazy, I'm just wearing a jester outfit. Come to my live streams, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm actually creating this during a live stream. Come see my live streams. This will make more sense, okay? So again, today we're reacting to this Prageru video. God help us. I'm not going to tell you anything about the Three-Fifths Compromise because they'll probably tell you about it. So let's see what they have to say. Okay, let's go.
One of the most misunderstood clauses in the United States Constitution is found in Article 1, Section 2. Representatives shall be apportioned among the states by adding to the whole number of free persons 3/5 of all other persons. Known as the Three-Fifths Compromise, it raises an obvious question. How could the Founding Fathers, who endorsed the idea that all men are created equal, also endorse the idea that some men aren't?
Oh, okay. So this is already funny because some of those founding fathers were slave owners. So you shouldn't be shocked that the founding fathers would endorse this idea. A lot of them were slave owners. And by the way, they did not endorse the idea of women being created equal. So they really oh, how could the founding fathers think like this? Well, it kind of came with the territory. A lot of them were racist. Okay, a lot of them were racist and didn't view all people as human. Okay.
In 2013, James Wagner, president of Emory University answered the question this way. The 3/5 compromise was an example of difficult but necessary political bargaining. Without it, Wagner argued, the northern and southern states would never have agreed to form a single union. No 3/5 compromise, no United States of America.
So, yeah, so admittedly, the 3/5 compromise was the result of a compromise. We don't know for sure what would have happened if they didn't do the 3/5 compromise. I suspect, so they're kind of jumping the gun here. And by the way, if we were to look at the morality of it, like, so we're okay with founding a nation where not everyone is viewed as a whole person? Like, I get it. They wanted to form this country and they did this compromise partially because they really wanted a whole country, but kind of seems like the moral aspect of that doesn't justify, I mean, the immorality of this is not justified by the unity aspect, right?
Many people, including 31 members of his own faculty, vehemently disagreed. Wagner, the faculty member suggested, was excusing the inexcusable. They signed an open letter stating that the 3/5 compromise was an insult to the descendants of slaves and an example of racial denigration.
Yeah, no, they're right. They're right. I mean, why did he? Okay, I need to know more about this. Why did he decide to release that statement talking about the 3/5 compromise as a necessary addition to the Constitution? Like, why do you need to go out of your way to defend it? Well, it's just weird to me. Would he have said the same if the 3/5 compromise applied to white men, like himself? Would he have thought the same way? Like, it's weird. It's weird. By the way, I did once see there was a historian that went on Fox News. Wonder why they had him on there. You'll see why. And he said the exact same thing. He's like, well, no, the 3/5 compromise was for the sake of, was actually good because it kept the country going. Like, sounds like you have a narrative to push there.
So who's right? Let's look at the text again. Representatives shall be apportioned among the states by adding to the whole number of free persons 3/5 of all other persons. Note that the Constitution does not say that a slave is not a person. It explicitly says that they are persons.
Okay. All right. Okay, so it's true. It does not, no, it says that they are 3/5 of a person. It does not say that they are people equal to other people. It says they are 3/5 of a person. And by the way, the Federalist Papers, which are a series of papers that were written by the people writing the Constitution where they were debating aspects of it. I believe it was James Madison, I'm pretty sure it was James Madison, openly said, well, yeah, they're 3/5 of a person because they're not really fully a person. They're also partially property. So we did 3/5 because that's just what's rational. They are not fully people. They are only 3/5 of a person. So even if they didn't directly say that in the Constitution, even though I would say that it's definitely implied, that was definitely the intention. Okay.
And it also does not say that a slave is 3/5 of a person, as many today mistakenly believe. The 3/5 description had nothing to do with the human worth of an individual slave, but everything to do with how many representatives.
Wait, it does. So it does not. So it doesn't say that they are 3/5 of a person. It says that non-free peoples, for the sake of apportionment, will count as 3/5, which is a person, right? It doesn't directly say. I may have made it sound like that, but regardless, you see what I mean. All right.
Each state would have in the U.S. Congress. For that purpose, states could only claim 3/5 of their slave population. The 3/5 compromise was devised by those who opposed slavery, not by those who were for slavery, or to put it another way.
No, it was devised so the anti-slavery people wanted them to not count as any vote because that would allow the South to have more political power and allow them to prevent the ending of slavery. It was the South that said every enslaved person should count as one person for the point of vote, and as a result of a compromise, they did 3/5. So no, that was not what the anti-slavery people wanted. The anti-slavery people wanted them to not count as votes.
It wasn't the racists of the South who wanted to count slave populations less than white populations. It was the abolitionists of the North. The framers of the Constitution were deeply divided on the issue of slavery. The free states of the North wanted to abolish it. The slave states of the South wanted to expand it. You might say that the Southern slave states wanted to have it both ways. They wanted to count their slaves for the purpose of representation, but they didn't want to give any representation to their slaves. Why did this matter? Let's look at the numbers. In the 1790 census, just 3 years after the Constitution was ratified, the free states of New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware had a population of about 1.8 million free whites. The slave states of Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina.
By the way, New York also had a lot of enslaved people, and there were some enslaved people up through here. Anyway.
South Carolina and
though they may have banned it by that point. I'd have to look, but I know New York had quite a few. Anyway.
Georgia had about 1.
I'm wrong. They had already banned it at that point. Never mind.
1 million free whites and 633,000 slaves. Add those two numbers and you get nearly equal populations between the North and the South. By the time of the Civil War, the slave population had grown to 4 million. Imagine how much more powerful slave states would have been without the 3/5 compromise.
No. Imagine how little power they would have had if they didn't do the 3/5 compromise, and how easy it would have been to end slavery if they hadn't allowed the South to manipulate the numbers that way. Okay.
If 100% of the slave population had been counted, slavery may very well have lasted
and what if none of them had been counted, which is what the abolitionists wanted?
Into the 20th century. Why, you might ask, didn't the North simply insist that the South not count slaves at all? Because the slave states would never have agreed to join the Union. They would have formed their own country, and we would have had...
By the way, folks, if the enslaved people of the South would have been able to vote, do you think they would have voted for the their enslavers, or for the anti-slavery people? So, hey, I would have been willing to count the enslaved people as part of the numbers as long as they're also able to vote. But of course, they weren't allowed to vote. So in that way, counting them as part of the census and stuff is only giving more power to the owners of the slaves, because then it's not their vote counts for far more people, right? The enslavers, their vote counts for far more.
2 nations, 1 free and 1 slave, living side by side in conflict from the very start. The 3/5 compromise was the solution to the most difficult challenge the framers faced: how to create a single country out of people so divided on a fundamental issue. As discordant as the compromise sounds to modern ears, without it, there would have been no United States. Following his defense of the compromise, Emory President James Wagner issued an apology to his outraged critics, asking for forgiveness for his clumsiness and insensitivity. As it turns out, Wagner had nothing to apologize for. The 3/5 compromise didn't deny the humanity of blacks. It affirmed.
Oh, that is so gross. Why do they have a black woman doing this? Saying that the 3/5 compromise didn't deny the humanity of black people. Saying that it affirmed it. That is so gross. That is so gross.
Affirmed it. I'm Carol Swain for Prageru University.
Oh, okay. So, okay. I said that, if the North had more power and things like that, I mean, if this enslaved people weren't counted as part of the voting and things like that, it would have been, the Civil War wouldn't have happened when it did. By the way, it's likely there would have been a Civil War at some point anyway, because the South was so hell-bent on keeping their enslaved people. It is likely it would not have been as large, violent, or horrific if we had ended slavery earlier. It also would not have resulted in there being almost 100 years more of slavery after the founding of the country. So I would have much rather ended it then and there, and then allowed the South to revolt at that point and put down that revolt, rather than waiting for the next nearly 100 years, allowing slavery to continue, and then ending it in a massive clap of violence where over 600,000 people died in the era of industrialized warfare. So anyway, regardless, interesting narrative they have here. And if you like my content, click the join button below, and for as little as 99 cents, you can become a member, and you get access to cute little jester hat and emojis if you ever come to my live stream. You can also support me on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. And if you want to see me when I'm over on Twitch, I'm over on Twitch and I'm on YouTube. You can find the link there beneath the video. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for.
All right, you guys. All right, you guys. That's that. Yeah. All right, you guys. So, admittedly, I will say this: there is a, okay, let me see what we got here, folks. So, I'm just reading some of the chats here. So, it is possible. Mauser mentions. Okay, I see you both here. Mauser mentions that's a fair point. Mauser, they could have lost. They may have lost the Civil War if they started. Um, we could have lost. The North could have lost the Civil War. If we started early. That being said, there were also the number of slaves in the South would likely have been able to rise up and assist the North. Although, admittedly, yeah, that's complicated. That's a fair point, Meowzord. I still would have liked the Civil War to occur earlier if it was destined to happen, or at the very least, so something different. All this compromise over and over and over again just led to a massive blowup and then allowed slavery to continue. Probably should have ended it near the beginning or at the beginning, or tried to end it near the beginning or at the beginning. And then, by the way, then there wouldn't be this sort of weird competition between the North and over time, the South would have had to lose slavery anyway. There's a lot of reasons for that, but okay. So, you see. Yeah, Meowsort, it does. So it is more that's a fair point, you guys. It is more complicated than I kind of made it out to be when I did that video. It may not have been. It could have been that the North would have lost if they would have started earlier. I guess one advantage of this of us having the Civil War at the other time was that the North was more industrialized than the South, which I guess was also true at the early period. But it's complicated. It's complicated. There's also more population in the North, but at the beginning. Same thing. Well, the same. Anyway, I'm just kind of thinking to myself, okay, regardless, not right to defend the Three-Fifths Compromise in any way, shape, or form. Really weird to defend the Three-Fifths Compromise and be like, no, it wasn't a bad thing. It was simply a compromise. And by the way, black people were not, it did not dehumanize black folks. Okay. So, yeah. All right, guys. So there we go. I'm going to put my face back up here. Oop, I got to fix it now. Jesus Christ, this is so annoying. Give me a second. All right. Let's see here. Right, John Gray, please don't read any other history text. I'd never lie to you guys. Exactly. All right. Boop-a-doop-boop-boo, boop-a-doop-boop-boo. There we go. Okay, so let me see here. Thank you all for bearing with me through that. Hopefully I will end up using that. I might have to go back. I might have to do it again. I feel like I made some errors of thought there now that I think about it. Anyway, regardless. Okay, guys. So what else can we do? What else can we do? I thought. By the way, folks, if we get one more super chat, I will put on the makeup. I believe I'm one away now. I believe I'm one away now. I hope God, I've not been doing very good at counting. I believe I'm one away now. London, I do. I have seen set up. It's the issue with my camera. I need like a second camera or something. Because you can't move from one. This camera doesn't. It's complicated, but the scenes don't work for the camera. I do have OBS. Thank you, Dolly Boy. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we'll put on the makeup. In the meantime, folks, let's react. Let's do some Discord-esque reactions. I got time. Great. So what happens, folks, is you notice with my camera. When I move to a different scene, so for example, watch. If I'm going to this scene, look what happens. You see that? You see how the camera doesn't pop up? The camera doesn't pop up because for this camera to switch what it's capturing, it needs to turn off and turn back on for it to change its perspective, right? For it to change what it's doing. And so it needs to reset. So when I move, it doesn't turn off fast enough. It turns off, but then doesn't boot up fast enough to boot up. So I have to literally then click this button to turn it off and then turn it back on so that it turns back on. So I can't just switch it. So I might need to get a second camera or a different camera that can actually switch between scenes, if that makes sense. Okay. Sure, Auntie. If you want to send me a webcam, I don't blame you. Meowsword, I'm using a Logitech. I mean, it could be I'm doing it wrong, Meowsword. I'm using a Logitech something. I could look it up. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's a Logitech Brio. Logitech Brio. A Logitech Brio. Oh. Let's see here. We got Dolly Boy makeup time for. Thank you, Dolly Boy. Oh, did I miss one? I'm sorry, folks. I was too busy rambling aimlessly. Oh, Matt Sly got someone too. So, okay, no, Brio, Brio. Oh, thank you, Antifa. Really, I didn't. I thought you were joking. Okay, do you send one too, Matt Sly? So that puts us at. Well, that gives us enough for the makeup, right? That's why I'm putting on the makeup now, unless I missed one. And then if we get two more, we'll do the. I'll try to name all the countries. Okay. Exactly, Meowsor. That's what I'm saying. It is the motherboard because I took it in to get checked and they said it's the motherboard. Okay. All right. So where's my makeup? So folks, what I want to do now while I'm putting on the makeup, I thought I could do a watch thing here. I got so yeah, two more for the competition. Me trying to name all the countries. Oh, thank you. Oh, I did just see it. So one more to name all the countries. Forgive me, Matt Zyka. Okay. Where'd I put this thing? Okay, where the hell? Give me a second. I need to pull up the Discord now. So I saw that there was some good Discord recommendations. There was one especially I wanted to watch. I want to see if I can pull it up here while I'm putting on the makeup. Okay. All right. What do we got? We got this one. Okay. So this one this was sent to us by Druzilla.
This holiday season,
it kind of lines up with what we did with what we've been doing. Well, what we did yesterday in regards to the neo-Nazi thing. So I just wanted to oops, okay. There we go. So this is 3 minutes long. This is about the rise of neo-Nazis in Sweden. And I thought it'd be interesting to look it up. So let's do that. Okay. So I'm going to put on my makeup while we watch this. I'll make it. So this is only 3 minutes long. It's about the rise of a neo-Nazi party in Sweden. Have I checked out Hamza? I don't want to be Hamza. Oh, that'll be then. We'll do that one next. We'll do that one next. Well, Doug sent me one too. You know what? I'm going to open up Doug's, and we'll do that one after this. Okay, we'll do Hamza after this one. Just because that's actually a good point. I really wanted to do Hamza too. Let's get that out there. Where'd Hamza go? Okay. All right, let's do this. I'm put on the makeup and let's go. All right.
The people meeting here make no bones about their beliefs. They openly profess to being part of the National Socialist community. Neo-Nazis from throughout Northern Europe have gathered here in a Swedish backwater, the far-right fringe of the far right. Almost 600 members and sympathizers of the so-called Nordic resistance movement are present. They're calling for a Nordic revolution, the creation of a racially pure society.
Oh, great.
And they're prepared to use violence to achieve
As I
those
always
ends.
say, folks, what happens if you create a quote-unquote racially pure society? Oops. After a couple generations, your people aren't really going to be able to stand in straight lines anymore, are they? Jesus Christ. They're going to be kind of have hunchbacks and, not going to be so great for their genetics, is it? All those hiles are going to look a bit limp, you know what I mean? Anyway, so please go ahead, make a racially pure society. Let's see what happens.
This movement is so dangerous because it's the most militant organization among the far-right groups. It's become the dominant power in the scene.
And Jonathan Lehman should know. A social scientist, he works for the Expo Foundation, which has been observing right-wing extremism.
Yeah,
in
this is
Sweden
Sweden,
for
that side
years.
guy.
That's why he's here today.
1/4 of its activists were either convicted or at least charged with the illegal possession of weapons in 2015 alone.
Oh my God, that happens somewhere? People actually get charged with having weapons in other
The
countries?
neo-Nazis have, for example, been linked with bombings near asylum seekers' hostels, which left 2 people seriously injured. Sweden's domestic intelligence agency, the Säpo, has arrested 3 suspects from the group in connection with the
Apparently,
incidents.
John Gray.
The Nordic resistance movement was unwilling to talk to us, but the group's political leader shows clearly what he thinks of Sweden's defense minister, calling him a traitor of the people because he wants to
Oh, look at
cooperate
that. Oh,
closely
God,
with
he's such a
NATO.
man, isn't he? Jesus.
The neo-Nazis' website is also no less clear about what they want. They call for the, quote, deportation of people who aren't ethnic Northern Europeans as soon as possible. They also speak of the need to, quote, repel the powerful Zionist elite and its military and economic influence.
See, that's
Their
coded language there.
declared aim? To introduce a national socialist
Right,
society.
Trump failed.
And they're not just active in Sweden. There's also a group in Norway and a very active one in Finland. Last September, a man died after being assaulted at a neo-Nazi rally. He had protested against their views. Police arrested a Finnish branch member. In Sweden, the neo-Nazis are concentrating on building up support in rural areas, like here in Falun in central Sweden. And they're very much making their presence felt.
They try to intimidate people. I've experienced that because I'm actively fighting racism, but my friends who aren't as politically active have also experienced it.
The neo-Nazis
All right.
have profited from the surge in support for the Sweden Democrats, a right-wing populist party, even though the party officially distances itself from the resistance movement.
So they're basically like the,
There
okay.
are members of the
Right,
SD
Antifa.
representatives that express support sometimes for groups such as the Nordic resistance movement. The Sweden Democrats, I mean, is a party which works in the Swedish parliament, and whereas this is a revolutionary Nazi movement.
Today there are no clashes. The Scandinavians are generally famed for their tolerance and cool-headedness. The neo-Nazis represent a real challenge to those values.
Okay, well, that's classic. Classic Nazis. They're basically the same everywhere, aren't they? Okay, let's watch this now. This is crazy Israeli man gets exposed by. So this is what's his face? Hamza. Okay, let's do this. I like Hamza.
What up?
By the way, genocide's still happening over in Israel.
I'm from Israel, mashallah.
Okay, I'm from Palestine.
I know there's no such thing as Palestine. You live in the USA. Go to your Muslim countries. Go back to where you came from. Man.
I'm from Palestine. I can't go back to where I came from because we're being genocided, ethnic cleansed, and occupied.
You know what genocide is?
Yes, it's exactly what's happening in Gaza. It starts with the intent of genocide, and Israel has that intent.
Well, I wish there was a genocide in Gaza. And
you wish there was?
Oh my God. I mean, I'm not surprised.
You don't f with the Jews, man. If you f with the Jews, you get something instead, bro.
You want children in Gaza to be killed?
Of course, man, because they want, they want us to be killed. So I don't give a f about all these motherfuckers, man. The elderly people, the little children, because when they will grow up, they will become
it totally
like
does,
you, man.
Jonas.
Like me. So do you want me to be killed?
And you too, because you do propaganda for the world. You're lying. All you do, you're lying.
So you're saying what I do is propaganda, even though you just explicitly said you want to kill all Palestinian children?
Yeah, but that's not propaganda. I'm speaking from my soul, from my heart, man.
Oh, well,
that's
that
from
makes
your
it
heart?
okay.
From your
right,
heart.
You know, Hitler was speaking from his soul, so then it's not genocidal, right? Like, Hitler really did want to kill all the Jews. You know, hey, he's speaking from his soul. Therefore, you know, it's not propaganda. Okay. Good. Good.
Your heart wants to kill Palestinians?
To do justice. Don't f with the Jews, bro.
Your heart wants to kill Palestinian children?
Of course.
Babies in incubators. You want to kill Palestinian children?
Yes, he does. We know the answer. Yes, he does.
Do you want to kill me?
You, your daughter, your son, your wife, everybody of your family, and you can record that to get all of your subscribers and stuff. Fuck you all the lefties, all the woke people. Fuck you, the European Union. Fuck you all, man. You don't even know in what world do you live in. Come to Syria. Why don't you talk about Syria?
Were you in the IDF? Were you ever in the IDF?
Everybody was in the IDF in Israel.
Did you kill Palestinians?
Unfortunately not. I'm only a driver.
Unfortunately,
but
no.
If I could, I would run on every Palestinian baby with my truck, man. F them all, man. They're spoiled.
No, Meowzord. Oh my God, Meowzord, brilliant. Meowzord says this is why compromise doesn't work in 2025. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How can we compromise with these people? Right? How could we compromise with slave owners? How could we compromise with Nazis? How could we like? I don't understand. Okay.
True, man. Go to Palestine, to Hebron. I will personally meet you, bro. I will show you everything, and then I will bury your body, bro. Just bury your body like the Russians in Ukraine. You're the same, bro. All of you Muslims, bro.
Yeah.
And you have 3 million subscribers, 3 million idiots who follow your bullshit.
No, John Gray, you're totally right.
Israel, but they speak about the Zionists that want to kill somebody. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. We got
you're okay
you
with
want to kill people.
Babies? Are you okay with Palestinian babies?
I'm trying to answer you. You just taken that sentence from the whole context, but
there's no context to run over Palestinian babies. You just said you want to run over Palestinian babies?
Of course, that's the
You are evil. You are evil.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, bro. I'm really evil, and I'm honest. I'm honest with you, not like you telling.
Are you proud? Are you proud to be a genocidal maniac and someone that has every screw loose in their head? Are you proud to be an animal?
First of all, I don't call myself an animal. I call myself as a justice fighter.
God, you're right, Meowzord. Like, I kind of wish some of these people were bullied more when they were younger. Like, you know what I mean? Like, someone needs to beat these these guys need to have their ass kicked once in a while, so they understand that they can't just get away with whatever they want.
Is it justice to kill babies and children?
Of course.
Yeah,
is it justice to bomb hospitals and schools and refugee camps and to level 80% of Gaza to the ground?
Folks, like when I was a teacher, if there would be like a bully or something, or like you know, like, okay, you can always tell when there is a teenager who has never been disciplined or has been able to get away with a bunch of really awful stuff. Because as soon as you lay down the law, I don't mean like physically lay down the law. I'm talking like as soon as you yell at someone and humiliate them, like a child, like a teenager who has, and by the way, they would deserve it if I were in a classroom, like if they were bullying a student or something, or one of those instances where you'd have to take a kid into the hallway and give them a talk. You can always tell when it would be a teenager that had never really gotten pushback before, because they would immediately break down. Like they just were like, "What did I do? Like, you're yelling at me?" And they could not handle it. And a lot of times you would start to see some change. Like these guys remind me of some of those teenagers. Like he's clearly never gotten pushback for any of this crap. So he feels perfectly comfortable doing it. And I really wish there was someone who would be able to give him some direct feedback. Okay. But now he's an adult. So, maybe more than just verbal, but anyway.
You are Islamophobic. You are a genocidal freak. You are evil. Your society is evil, and you need help.
Proud Zionist.
You're a proud Zionist. Proud Zionist, yeah. Do you, if you had a button where you could kill every Palestinian if you clicked it, would you click it?
Yes, of course. The Muslim, the Islam is cancer, bro. You are cancer. Your religion is cancer. You don't do that fucking eyebrows, bro. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh God!
You want to kill me?
You're doing.
Guys, have we noticed? Like, we just watched a video about Nazis, but this guy seems like the crazy guy. Like, this guy seems almost worse. And I'm not saying he is worse, but I mean, that those Nazis would probably not be so open about it, at least, right? At least you probably, if you got them on camera, they wouldn't be so willing to be open about it. But this guy is just like, yeah, kill them all. Who cares? Yeah.
Something worse. You're spreading propaganda, and somebody will listen to you. That's why you have to be killed first.
I have to be killed.
So your propaganda won't get to their ears.
But I have to be killed.
Of course. So you won't speak too much bullshit.
Dude, okay, hold on. Wait. What's your name, real quick? What's your name, just so I can talk to you about what's your name?
Oh, you're totally right, John.
My name is David, bro.
Okay. What's your last name, so I can refer you by your last name?
Kopperstein.
How old are you?
32.
32. Where do you live in Israel?
I live in Ashdod. It's 20 kilometers from Gaza.
Oh, okay. Okay. What do you do for a living?
Yeah, Dolly boy.
I drive a truck.
You're a truck driver?
Also, yeah.
And you're David, and you're 32, and you live 20 kilometers near Gaza, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, bye. I had no other questions for him, and I was like pretty speechless to everything I heard. I don't know what I just saw. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, no, me too, Outer Signal. Like, hate does age you, doesn't it? Like, another example is like John C. Calhoun. Like, that guy looked like he was in his 40s. He was a 32, because just like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, like the ring, my precious, it's like rots your body, right? It destroys your body.
Evil. There's no other explanation for that other than pure evil. Unfortunately, I have been met with that before. I mean, this is not the first time that an Israeli has said those things to me, or a Zionist in general. I have been
he'd really like it when
messaged death threats. I've been messaged things like that. Palestinians usually do get messaged those types of things from Israelis or Zionists. That just happens all the time. I mean, am I surprised? No, I'm not. Not at all. Not one bit, to be totally honest.
I know he's
it's typical.
Very strong, Matt Saga, that he
we
can
all
do that.
know that Zionists think this way. It's just rare that we hear it just directly to like your face like that. You know what I mean? And that's why I do these types of streams is to You're too kind calling him evil. Yeah, I definitely think so as well. I mean, I don't know what word there is to call him.
We need new words for some of these folks.
I don't know
I
what
agree.
else to call him. Like, evil is being too kind. If I'm being honest, you are correct. Calling him evil is way too nice. Sorry that you guys had to see that, to be honest.
Jesus, okay. Oh my God. I just can't. Guys, I haven't been talking about Gaza as much recently, honestly, and maybe it's a personal flaw. I've just been having a trouble doing it. Like, it's very draining emotionally. And I should definitely talk about it more because, you know, I talked about it a lot for a while. I really should get back into it because I know things are not great at all over there. Things aren't going well. But if this guy can handle it, he can actually handle sitting there and talking to these folks. Maybe I can buck up a bit. Okay. All right. Insane. Absolutely batshit crazy. I can't believe the world we're living in. All right. Good. That was great. Okay, folks. Let me see what else we got here on the Discord to watch. Da, 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 Meowsword, I'd watch yours, but I think we've actually watched it on stream before, to be honest with you. The one with the guy that does magic in quotes. I feel like we've watched it before. I'm pretty sure we have. Oh, there's actually not that many options on here. Let's do well, MAGA versus TDS. Let's do this one. Let's do MAGA versus TDS. This is from Alyssa. I don't think Alyssa's here, but we'll do it anyway.
You.
Yeah.
In there and it ain't. Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files.
So real fast, folks, if we get 2 more super chats, we'll do the competition where I have to name all the countries in the world. We may actually be we only might need, I think, yeah, we need 2 more. So that's fine. Then if you're over on Twitch, just do a Gaza update one. So I could do that a bit, Thrill. Okay. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right, Dolly Boy. I did. Okay. Okay, Malzord, we're done then. Thank you, Malzord. All right. Well, Malzord just fixed that problem. So we'll try to do this. Now, if we do this, so I'll pull it up. God help me. I'm going to embarrass myself. I know it. I shouldn't have agreed to this. Okay. So this is how this is going to work, folks. This is how this is going to work. So I'm going to try and name all the countries of the world. Countries. Now, if I can do it within I think it's what? They give you 15 minutes, okay? If I can do it within 15 minutes, we will automatically have a Jester After Dark stream. Or I'm sorry, if I can't do it within 15 minutes, we will do a Jester After Dark stream, okay? If I can do it within 50 minutes, we will need 3 more super chats in order for me to do a Jester After Dark stream. All right. And I within 10, so I'm allowed to miss up to 10. That might sound unfair, but there are 197 countries, so you got to give me a little bit of grace, okay? And there might be so I can miss up to 10. Is that okay with everyone? I think I put that in the description. So let's see what I can do. All right. And again, I promise you I won't cheat. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to move my computer around so I can actually type better because it's going to be harder for me to type if I have to keep turning to look at my hands. Okay, we'll just do it this way. This will work. All right. Oh, Jesus. All right. So if you can see here, folks, here are the 197 countries. I can make it closer so you can kind of see 197. I'll have 15 minutes to try and do it. Okay. God help me. God help me indeed. All right. Everyone ready? Let's see if I can do it. Let me sit up. Actually, I'm going to sit up. Hopefully it won't take the whole 15 minutes so I don't bore all of you to tears, okay? It's been a long time since I've done it, so please give me some grace here. Give me some grace, okay? All right. All right, everyone ready? Let's do it. All right, here we go. Canada, USA, Mexico, Belize, Costa Rica, Guatemala. I'm doing North America first. Nicaragua, El Salvador. What am I missing here? Panama. Honduras. Okay, you've got Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic. Okay, Dominica, and then Dominican Republic. St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis. Jamaica. I pronounce it how it's spelled so I can remember how to spell it. Because this is based off spelling too. Jamaica. St. Thomas. Nope. St. Thompson? Damn it. Okay. St. Kitts and Nevis. Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda. Bahamas. I think that's independent. I can't always forget. Yep. Bahamas. St. Kitts and Nevis, Bahamas, Grenada. Okay. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Vincent. Okay. St. Lucia. Okay, let's go to South America. Brazil, Peru, Colombia. I might be missing a few in the Caribbean. I'll try and come back to those. Venezuela, Venezuela, Ecuador. Okay, Ecuador, Suriname, Guyana, Chile, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, Bolivia. Okay, we'll go over to Europe now. UK, Ireland, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, Finland, Denmark, Netherlands. Okay, the spelling is what's going to kill me here because I'm going to keep missing. I'm going to keep misspelling them and having to re-put them in. Germany, France, Andorra, which is right on the border. Okay, Spain, Portugal, Switzerland, Luxembourg. Okay, Austria. Jesus. Okay, Austria, Czechia, or also called the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Estonia. I'm kind of moving around now. Latvia, Lithuania. I remember the 3 Baltic countries. Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, San Marino is another small one. Malta, Romania, Bulgaria, Macedonia, Greece, Turkey. Oh God, this is going to be a hard one to spell. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Oh, God damn it. Bosnia. Damn it. I can't do that. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Okay, there we go. Kosovo. Croatia. Jesus, Sam, spell. Albania. Okay, did I do Hungary? I think I did Hungary already. Poland. Okay. Serbia. What am I missing here? Serbia, Kosovo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. God, if I can spell it. Liechtenstein. Oops. Damn it. Liechtenstein. There we go. Okay, Liechtenstein. Slovenia. What am I missing there? Slovakia. Did I do Slovakia? I thought I did Slovakia. I guess I didn't do Slovakia. Austria. Did I do Austria? Did I do Germany? Maybe I missed Germany. I'm missing something there. Okay, well, we'll figure that out. Papal See or Vatican City. There we go. The Vatican City. San Marino, Monaco. Cyprus. Okay, let's go down. We'll come back. Tunisia. Morocco. Let's go to the Middle East, shall we? God, okay, this is going to be harder. Armenia because of all the stands. Armenia. Uzbekistan. Turkmenistan. Okay, Azerbaijan. Tajikistan. Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. There we go. Armenia. Did I get that one? Tajikistan, Azerbaijan. Did I get? I think. Oh, Georgia. Russia. Hungary. Did I get Hungary? I did not get Hungary. There it is. Okay. Mongolia. China. North Korea. South Korea. Japan. Bangladesh. Why I suddenly just thought of Bangladesh? It's right there. Anyway, okay. India. Bhutan. Nepal. Vietnam. Laos. Not Burma, Myanmar. Myanmar. Okay. Philippines. Taiwan. It's actually part of China. I'm just kidding. Brunei. Okay. Singapore. Okay, there we go. Malaysia. Papua New Guinea, and then East Timor, which is Timor-Leste, I should say. Timor-Leste, I think is what it's called. Yes. Indonesia, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan. That's one of the stands I forgot. Okay, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. I'm missing one of those. Okay, we'll get back to it. Thailand. Cambodia. All right, Solomon Islands. I'm just going to go for some of the small ones now. Solomon Islands. Okay, Marshall Islands with 2 L's. Marshall Islands, Nauru, Kiribati. Australia, not a small one, but okay, Australia. New Zealand. Sorry, folks, I know it's taking a while. Give me a sec. Okay, Togo. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry, Tonga, but Togo is also one. Tonga, Fiji, the Marshall Islands, Polynesia. Is it French Polynesia? Oh, no, Micronesia. Guam is a territory. Samoa, I'm sorry, Samoa. Tuvalu. Okay. All right, let's go back to the Middle East here. We got Syria. So I never actually did the Middle East. I just said I was going to. Syria, I don't think I'm going to get it in time. Syria. Jordan. Saudi Arabia. What'd I do? God damn it. Saudi Arabia. Qatar. UAE. Yemen. Oman. Iran. Iraq. Israel. Ugh, God. Israel. I'm going to put Palestine just to see. They're not going to count it probably. Oh, they do count it. Okay, good. Thank God for that. Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Oman, Egypt. Okay, Mali, Burkina Faso. We're going to go into Africa now, folks. I don't know why I skipped it there. Okay, Libya. Sudan, South Sudan, Libya, South Sudan, Ethiopia, okay, Eritrea, okay, Djibouti, Dig my booty, okay, I don't know what that means, okay, Somalia, Seychelles, the island nation of the Seychelles, Madagascar, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, Capo Verde, Cape. You know what? Screw it. Okay, Sao Tome. They changed the name of it, I think. Sao Tome and Principe. Okay, there it is. Comoros, Ghana, Benin. God, I'm going on fast here. Togo, Benin, Cameroon, damn it, Namibia, Tanzania, Kenya, fuck. Excuse me. I mean, Chad. Don't forget about Chad. Gotta love Chad. Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone. What's that one that's down there? Oh, just South Africa, just that small little place. South Africa, Swaziland, Lesotho, Mozambique, Zambia, DRC, Democratic Republic of the Congo, okay. Central African Republic, is it CAR? Let's just try CAR. Let's see if they accept it. Yes, they accept it. Okay. Liberia, Senegal. Shit. I mean, okay. Cameroon, Guinea. Did I do Guinea? I didn't do Guinea. Okay. Adamans. Is that the Adamans? No. What am I missing? Tanzania, Zimbabwe. Okay. Oh, God damn. What is this one right here? What am I missing? Did I do San Marino? I think I did San Marino. Did I do Monaco? I think I did Monaco. I think I did San Marino too. San Marino. God damn it, folks. I can't think of these ones. I think, okay, let's do Cape Verde. Maybe they didn't. Yep. Okay, they just spelled it differently than I thought it was. Okay, Cape Verde. These are Comoros. What is this one right here? Not Kenya. Shit. Damn it. Equatorial Guinea. Okay, Equatorial Guinea. Nairobi. What about Kiribati? Did I do Kiribati? I think I did Kiribati. I did do Kiribati. Marshall Islands. Namibia. I did Namibia. Zambia. Shit. Oh God, I can't think of the last few. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Kuwait. Can't believe I forgot about Kuwait. Kuwait. Qatar. I did Qatar, right? I did do Qatar. I don't know what that would be then. Shit, I'm gonna lose. God damn it. I'm so close. Okay. Shit. What is this one up here? It's not Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. What is right here? Why can't I think of that one? I'm an idiot. Did I do Namibia? Botswana. Damn it. Okay. Damn it. Okay. Oh, I forgot Montenegro. I forgot Kyrgyzstan. No. No, I got so close. Did I forget Italy? Oh my God, I forgot to put down Italy. I'm an idiot. Okay. How did I miss Italy? Oh my God. Okay, so I didn't do that badly though, right? I got 176 out of 97, which is still pretty bad. That's like what? 1, 2. Oh, I forgot all the ones over here too. Jesus Christ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I got, okay. I missed about 20. I missed 21. Jesus Christ. Okay, fine. Fine. We'll do an After Dark stream, okay? Oh, you know what? I did forget that this was over here because I do look at this. I thought I had gotten all the ones over here. I totally forgot to look down here because I forgot Nigeria, for God's sake. All right. Oh, Bahrain. I should have known that. Vanuatu, Palu. Okay, whatever. Whatever. I got a lot of the odd ones. That's right. Okay, whatever. Screw all of you. I hate you all. Okay, fine. We'll do a Jester After Dark stream, okay? All right. So disappointing. So disappointing. Okay, well, apparently I'm not as quick as I thought I was, okay, as I used to be. All right. So we'll do a Jester After Dark stream. Yay! Okay. All right, guys. So I'm just quickly I forgot Barbados. I just want to look over here. I forgot Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. I know. How could I know? I tell you, the reason I forgot those ones, okay, is because I forgot that they're like they see how they have this little separate screen down here. Okay. You see this? Okay, shut up. Shut up. How dare you, Soup Cheese? See this little separate screen down here? I forgot that that was there, so I thought I had gotten all of West Africa, like most of West Africa except the Gambia. I did get Papua New Guinea, but I forgot Palu, and Vanuatu. I forgot the Maldives, Mauritius. But then I don't know how I forgot Italy. So I did. The main thing here was Africa that I forgot that was down there. Okay. Okay. Anyway, how dare all of you? Okay, all of you can go to hell. Okay, with love, and I know you like warm temperatures. So, okay. Moving on. Okay. How dare you? All right. So we move on, shall we? I used to be able to do them all pretty in that time. Okay, so I should have double checked my skill before I did this. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Let me do this. So let's watch one more little clip here from Discord. That was kind of fun, though. We should do things like that more often. I like that. I love forcing you all to sit here and watch me for 15 minutes.
Hamza,
Okay, we already saw that. Don't need to see that again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Outer Signal. Thank you. Okay. All right. Don't worry, Outer Signal. Okay. 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 All right. Where am I going here? I'm gonna go check out where's Discord here. We'll watch like one more. Let's see here what we got on here. Okay, actually, you know what, Meowzord, fine. We'll do this.
Could you name a country on this map?
Oh Jesus,
no,
Americans
sorry,
are so bad at geography. They're so bad at geography. It's terrible. All right. So for the folks in chat that are saying that they're very good at geography, and you know I'm kind of coping here because I lost. Okay, you know I'm kind of coping here because I lost. But if you think you're that great at geography, try doing the whole world in 15 minutes. Okay, let's see what you can do. Okay, how dare you? All right, how dare you? Okay. Okay, guys. Let's watch this.
Can any of you name a country on this map? If you can name it, I'm gonna have you cross it off.
Ireland.
Can y'all name a country on the map?
No, I can't.
You can't name one country on here?
Remember, like the boot man?
Oh, this is embarrassing. Yeah, guys, I actually became kind of compulsively upset at obsessed with geography after I started teaching. I already knew geography very well, but I got so upset seeing how bad Americans were at geography, like really bad at geography, that I swore that I would never be that person that couldn't do geography. And I like tried to memorize all the countries and stuff. Anyway, though I already knew them pretty well, but I don't really try to memorize them.
Any country.
I thought it looked stupid as hell.
We're one country down and people are already failing. Can either of you name a country on this map?
Pretty sure it's France.
Italy.
College students couldn't even name those.
I've seen some interviews, and there's some of them that.
By the way, Soup Cheese, I know you were joking, Soup Cheese, but I have actually heard people say that Africa is a country. I've heard people say that Canada was part of the United States. I've heard people think that Europe was a country. Okay. See what I mean? Don't trust people who aren't good at yeah, okay.
I didn't even know who the first president was.
That's crazy. Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, but it's.
Could either of you name a country on this map?
There's Portugal.
Yeah, here's Greece. Yo, could you name a country on this map?
Oh yeah, this is the United Kingdom.
Dude, I can't even see it. I don't have my contacts in.
You can zoom in if you need to.
Nah, dude.
There's no way we're getting through this entire map.
Hello, this is Africa, right?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ in your group.
I don't know one. Do you know?
That's okay.
No, I don't know any.
Africa? Can I have you name a country on this map?
Harmless monkey, you're not wrong, right? Because Americans, they love bombing people, so they probably should know who they're bombing at any given point, right? Ugh, dark but true. Okay.
Goodness gracious. It's a really rough day to be a psych major. I don't know.
Can I have you name a country on this map?
This one is Spain.
Can you name a country on this map?
Wait. We're disoriented here.
You know what continent that is?
Europe? Asia?
Greenland up here. Yeah, somehow you guys got one down.
Asia, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. Asia.
Can you name a country on this map?
I can name all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Here, go through it.
Ukraine, Moldova,
Right,
Belarus, Romania, Bulgaria,
for her.
Germany's here, Austria. Okay, maybe I overestimated.
You're doing great so far.
This is Turkey right here. Norway,
Oh, good for
Sweden,
her.
Finland. Is this Estonia?
Well, she's not American though. You can tell by she has an accent, right? I'm not trying to assume, but she has an accent. Clearly not American.
Latvia, Lithuania, Belgium.
Lithuania. See, I think she might be Eastern European or something.
What about this big one?
Poland. I know the names, but the locations are kinda...
yeah. Well, you did way better than anybody else. Most college kids couldn't name any of them. What should I do next? Follow so you don't miss out.
Okay, that was good. All right. Very good. I appreciate that last one. At least it made me feel a little better about it. Okay. Yeah, right. Okay, that was a good one, Meowsword. All right, you guys. So, we will do a Jester After Dark stream tonight because I failed. I'm a failure. Though sometime I'm going to do it again. I'm going to prove you all wrong. Okay. There was a girl on TikTok that thought Hawaii was its own country. Hilarious in your groove. Hello, by the way, welcome, Harmless Monkey. I don't think I've seen you in here before, but glad to see you here. Okay. All right, guys. So we did it. I mean, I failed, but we did it. And I believe right now it is 4:20, which means I'm going to get off now. And then I shall be back on later. I shall be back on at between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. For a Jester After Dark stream. And I will say, as again, everyone should celebrate. Mainly I should celebrate, and then I want everyone else to celebrate too. Blazes stand because I did get to 10,000 followers today. Yay! It's a milestone. Yay! I'm just happy. So that's good news. All right. Okay. Everyone ready? Everyone ready for this? Even though I need to get my computer fixed, which was bad news I got today. But anyway, everyone ready for this? You all know what I'm about to say. I'll put up my face. You all know I got to put up my face. Matt Saga, I have not yet. I have not looked at all, so I have to get to that. Okay. All right. Okay. Woo! I also want to get like a little beeper, like a so I can like a clown, like honk it. That'd be kind of cute. I also might get a soundboard because I found some soundboards at Micro Center while I was there that are kind of cool. I could like have little sound effects, like a fart noise or whatever. Sound of Trump crying, like that'd be really cool. Anyway, everyone ready? You all know what I'm about to say? You all know what I'm about to say? First of all and foremost, free Palestine. Free Palestine. Second of all, never stop resisting. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. That includes when you watch me. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. See what other people are saying. Don't get caught in an information silo. I can't even name all the countries, and I hate myself for it. So the easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. Okay? The easiest way to resist, thank you, NT, for you, is to think for yourselves. Thirdly, we're living in a fascist moment in this country. Fascism thrives in an environment where people have lost faith in their democratic institutions, oftentimes because we have overcompromised to the point where nothing's getting done that anyone really likes, and the anger builds up, and then people turn to fascists. Fascism thrives in an environment where people turn to more radical ends of the political spectrum for that reason. The only way to fix that is for major reforms. We need major reforms in this country. You cannot stand in the center. If you stand in the center, the fascists will walk all over you. We need major reforms in this country. Never stop resisting. On the wall behind me is a sword. The name of that sword is Chainbreaker. Chainbreaker is thought to have been responsible for the death of 7 slave owners. Why do I have it back there? I have it back there to remind everyone that our ancestors made some major sacrifices for some of the things we have today, including some of the rights we have, some of the economic liberties, civil liberties, things like that. Sometimes they even died getting those. We cannot let their sacrifice go to waste, folks. Please, please, please. And this includes all over the world. We cannot let their sacrifice go to waste. Please don't let their sacrifice go to waste. And always, always, always fight for a better future. And on that note, folks, I will see you all later for a Jester After Dark stream. Hope to see you all there. Bring some songs you want to listen to, okay? Bring some songs you want to listen to. I'd love that shit. Okay? All right, guys. Love you all. Have a good rest. I'll see you later. Goodbye.